Chapter 923. Even children would start crying when they saw the undead. Because even children knew that the undead clan was evil and would commit all kinds of evil. The parents of the children immediately covered their children's mouths, and the square was filled with muffled cries. Death Mage was very depressed. It is so hard to be the male lead. Why doesn't his honor come and be the male lead? Furthermore, he is a bad male lead. It was a good thing that Death Mage's expression could not be changed. Just by looking at his skeletal face, he would be able to scare people to death. GGG, Royal Translation. You all will become my sacrificial offerings, ha ha ha. After he finished speaking, Death Mage felt that his lines were too weak. It was not shocking at all. The translation job was still assigned to the evil spirits circling in the sky. Lowly human. You will all become sacrifices for the great undead clan. You will feel extremely honored and give up your lowly lives for the great undead clan. Death Mage. F***ck me. Was that what I said? To actually translate it so incisively, this is so embarrassing. I reckon that his honor is probably laughing at me right now. How embarrassing. Look at how this evil spirit speaks better than me. It looks like I'll have to learn how to speak from Sun Fong when I get back. The village chief stood up at this moment, his aged face revealing a fearless expression. We will not yield to the undead clan, children. My fellow countrymen. Stand up, we will not bow our heads to the undead. Yes. We will not yield. That's right. We will fight to the end. Brothers, pick up your hoes and fight it to the death. Over 100 people were already shouting. Their morale had indeed increased by quite a bit. Although Death Mage's eloquence was not good, his might was still there. The death scythe in his hand stabbed into the ground, causing a wild gale to blow. The powerful might caused everyone to feel shocked, and they once again knelt on the ground. Some people even coughed up blood. Without waiting for Death Mage to speak, the evil spirit had already started to forcefully add on his lines. Lowly humans, how dare you anger the great undead race? You will become the most miserable sacrifices, and your souls will never be redeemed. Death Mage felt that there was no need for him to speak anymore, and let these evil spirits speak for him. It was a little sad. Everyone began to pray to the heavens, asking the gods to come and save their believers and crush the evil in front of them. However, just as everyone was praying, a golden light flashed across the dark sky. Everyone was stupefied. I didn't expect that our prayers would instantly be arranged by the heavens. The gods didn't abandon us, there's still hope. The golden radiance of the night slowly descended, and everyone discovered that it was a golden armor that was emitting out a holy radiance. Even the gods didn't have such an imposing manner. There was finally hope. However, when the golden armor completely landed on the ground, everyone was stupefied. This isn't a god at all. It's another undead. My god. Are you trying to play me to death? They are on the same side. The heavens want to destroy the human race. The one who was wearing the golden armor was naturally Yi Hua. Staying in the imperial palace is too boring, and coming out to have some fun is quite interesting. Acting with my subordinates is quite fun. However, this idiot Death Mage doesn't even know how to speak. Look at how well that evil spirit knows how to speak. This time when I return, I have to ask Sun Fong to properly teach Death Mage. Look at me, I have never gambled, I don't drink or smoke, I am simply the best man in the world. For Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji to be able to find a man like me, it is their good fortune that they have cultivated for several lifetimes. However, Yi Hua discovered that these people were not moved at all when he descended from the sky. Instead, they looked as if they were going to die. GGG. Imperial Translation. Who are you? Evil spirit. Who are you, you bastard? Death Mage. Your honor, this is not what I said, you know what I mean. These are all the lines that those evil spirits added themselves. When Yi Hua heard those evil spirits actually called him a bastard, they are truly going against the heavens. This bastard is something that only my woman can do. If anyone else dares to scold me, I will kill them all. Yi Hua could be seen stretching out his bone palm and grabbing the air. The evil spirit that was scolding Yi Hua bastard just now immediately exploded in the air. Everyone was stupefied. What is going on? Aren't they supposed to be together? Yi Hua took out his own great sword, which was similarly shining with golden light. I am the embodiment of justice. You damned undead, to actually want to harm innocent humans, I will never forgive you. Along with Yi Hua's words, an unparalleled aura emitted out from his entire body, causing everyone to be stupefied. This undead. What a sense of justice. The evil spirit started speaking again. You scum of the undead, to actually harm your own kind, all for these lowly humans. Great mage. Quickly grant him death. Let him know that the dignity of the undead is not to be violated. Death Mage was in despair. Why is the evil spirit that I summoned so outstanding? Did you all care about my feelings? He is my boss's boss. Yi Hua felt that this evil spirit's acting skills were not bad. Look at this Death Mage. He is just like a fool. He is just standing there stupidly. Yi Hua raised his great sword and pointed it at Death Mage, then shouted out, You are the scum of the undead. The undead are a race that yearns for peace, and it is precisely because of you people that the reputation of my undead is ruined. Today, I will let you have a taste of my great sword. After Yi Hua finished speaking, he held onto his great sword and leaped high into the air. A ray of red light flashed past Death Mage's eyes. This is my first time fighting with his honor. This is an unparalleled honor. An unparalleled honor. Holding onto the scythe of death, Death Mage raised both of his hands above his head. Clang! A terrifying aura was emitted out. Yi Hua shouted out gravely, Go out and fight, do not harm the innocent. GGG Imperial Translation. As you wish. After finished speaking, the two disappeared into the night sky. However, not long after, a magnificent scene of an explosion blossomed not far away from them, causing the villagers to be dumbstruck. They are so strong. I wonder who will win. I hope that it will be that righteous undead. If it is that evil undead, I will definitely have to die. Meanwhile, not far away from them, Yi Hua was standing with his hands behind his back, while Death Mage was throwing magic around at the side. A fireball spell was thrown here, and a lightning spell was thrown there, creating the scene of a battle. Death Mage, you need to practice your eloquence a bit more. Yi Hua said faintly. GGG, Imperial Translation. I will solemnly obey your decree. Also, when you are acting you have to put yourself into it. Even if you only know how to shout out GGG, you also have to pay attention to the tone of GGG, fluctuate up and down, only then will you be able to act out your inner thoughts, understand? Death Mage didn't understand what Yi Hua meant. GGG, Imperial Translation. Subordinate understands. Chapter 924. Death Mage continued to throw out magic that caused a huge explosion, causing the surroundings to be charred on the outside and tender on the inside. The commoners in the village were all scared to the point that they were trembling in fear. This is too terrifying. These two undead are actually opponents. This is simply subverting their understanding of the undead. Gradually, the sound of the explosion stopped. Everyone began to feel nervous. Who had won? Hopefully it would be the righteous undead. If it was that black-robed undead, he would definitely be finished. The lives of the entire village would be in their hands. Everyone began to pray to the heavens that the golden undead would win. When a golden figure flew over, everyone was excited. They were so excited that they hugged each other. The heavens had not abandoned them. The undead had won. The armor on Yi Hua's body could be seen to be a bit tattered. I'm acting after all. Of course, props have to be used. Only then will it be able to fully show that I, the Supreme Overlord, had just gone through an extremely tragic battle. Humans, aren't you all going to be moved? Thank you for saving us. Tears streamed down the village chief's face as he knelt on the ground in worship. Seeing that even the village chief was worshipping, the others also began to worship. They would never have imagined that they would be worshipping an undead. But this undead had saved their lives, so he deserved this bow. Yi Hua felt that the atmosphere was very good. This is the feeling that my plan is being implemented step by step. All of you, get up, there is no need to be like this. Yi Hua said gravely, and his tone seemed to still be a bit weak, just like he had just won the battle with great difficulty. Thank you for saving our entire village, the village chief shouted gratefully. I'm helping the people get rid of evil. Among the mutated tribes, there are good and bad people. That undead just now was one of the bad ones. They killed innocents for their own selfish desires. I will take care of these scum bit by bit. We can't let these people ruin the reputation of the non-human kind. After hearing Yi Hua's words, everyone felt that what Yi Hua said was reasonable. Even among humans, there were good and bad people, and it should be the same for other races as well. Just like this undead, I feel that he is a good person. It seems like the first impression that Yihua gives others is that he is a good person. However, he was actually very bad. He cheated in all kinds of ways. Even his wife. It was not too much to call him a scumbag. This hero is right. No matter the race, there will always be good and bad. The village chief said respectfully. If it was possible, he should spread this story around and let everyone know that not everyone in the foreign races was a bad person. After hearing that, Yihua felt that this old man was not bad and was a respectable person. It's very dangerous for you all to stay here. Why don't you all go to Voidless Empire? There are all sorts of benefits there, and as long as you are willing to work, you all will be able to support yourselves. Hero, we are already used to living here. If we were to suddenly move, I'm afraid, Yihua said faintly. The safety of Voidless Empire can be guaranteed, but if you all continue to stay here, what should you all do if you run into that matter from earlier again? After all, it is impossible for me to protect you all every single day. The village chief felt that what Yihua said was very right. If those bad fellows were to come again, what should we do? At that time, everyone would have to die. You guys think about it. Voidless Empire is able to protect your safety. Such a thing like this will never happen in Voidless Empire. After finished speaking, Yihua disappeared from where he was, not waiting for them to make a decision. Only when he left would they feel afraid. Village chief, I feel that we should still go to Void Empire. A middle-aged woman said. That's right, village chief. If that bad fellow were to come back again, we wouldn't be able to do anything at all. Indeed, now that all the heroes have left, we have to quickly make a decision. Then let us go and have a meeting right now. The village chief didn't say anything else. Everyone's worries are right. If there is really a need, we should still move to Voidless Empire. At this moment, Yihua returned to the palace. The fun he had just now was rather interesting, and he still has to continue. This is truly too interesting. Yihua, where did you go just now? Qingya suddenly asked at the side. These few days, Yihua has been acting sneakily, as if he had been doing something bad. Yihua shouted towards Daji. Brew a cup of tea for me. All right, master. Do you need to wash your feet? Daji asked obediently. Sure, soak my feet. Yihua sat on the chair with a comfortable expression on his face. I am asking you, Yihua. Qingya sat beside Yihua and shook Yihua's shoulders with both of her hands. I didn't play much. I just went out for a walk. Yihua said faintly. Donghuang Baiji walked over from the side. Yihua, you are an emperor, and you let us do everything for you. Qingya and I have to deal with a lot of things all day long, and you just go out and play. Don't you feel sorry for us? Sigh, Yihua didn't expect that there would be so many things to deal with when creating an empire. Just looking at it gives me a headache. Right now, I can only console them properly. Yihua carried Qingya and Donghuang Baiji in his embrace. You two have worked hard. Continue to work hard in the future. Qingya, Donghuang Baiji. Tell us first, what have you been doing during this period of time? Donghuang Baiji asked. It's nothing much. I was just planning for the matter of humans and other races coexisting peacefully. Isn't that more important? So, I am also very tired. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji looked at Yihua from the corner of their eyes. I feel that this is so fake. He definitely went out to play sneakily and purposely found an excuse. The two women looked at each other and seemed to have their own thoughts. Thus, they didn't ask too much. Very quickly, Daji came over with water to wash Yihua's feet and placed it beside Yihua's feet. Master, let Daji help you wash your feet. Daji said respectfully. After all, even your wife is here. Yihua, who was in a good mood, allowed Daji to do so. Daji, on the other hand, was very excited. She immediately helped Yihua to put on a pair of slippers, then lightly placed Yihua's feet into the hot water and lightly rubbed them. It feels so good. This is the first time I have come into contact with my master's holy body, and Daji's face turned completely red. My God! I have finally come into contact with my master's body. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji rolled their eyes at Yihua. Count this as a benefit for you, but at most, you will only be able to wash Yihua's feet. Don't even think about anything else. After taking a bath, Yihua hugged onto his two wives and said with a smile, Come, let's go to sleep. If you want to go, You can go by yourself, we still have to work. Qingya still doesn't know Yi Hua's character? How can work be more important than sleeping? I am going to properly criticize the two of you. I will continue to work tomorrow. Yi Hua reprimanded with a stern face. Later on, he was going to use domestic violence. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were suffering. How could the two delicate wives be Yi Hua's opponent? Domestic violence was currently in progress. For the next few days, Yi Hua and Death Mage continued to put on a show, and more people began to sing praises of the undead. End of this chapter. Chapter 925. However, today, Yi Hua planned to play the role of a bad guy and enjoy the feeling of being a bad guy. Speaking of which, I, the Supreme Overlord, have not been a bad person for many years. I am truly a bit ashamed. Looking at the few hundred people in front of him who were kneeling on the ground, Yi Hua suddenly felt great in his heart. I really want to snap my fingers and turn all of them into blood-red bubbles that will fly in the air. That kind of feeling should be very pleasurable. It was simply not a normal kind of pleasurable. Yi Hua's thoughts immediately returned back to that time when he killed the innocent. However, very quickly, he adjusted himself. Forget about what happened back then. I, the Supreme Overlord, have already washed my hands of life. But then again, shouldn't it be Death Mage's turn to go up? Where is he? Did he fall asleep? That idiot. However, right now, Death Mage was not asleep. Instead, he was kneeling on the ground and shivering, because there were two women standing in front of him. His wife. Your Honor, I'm going to be exposed. Your wife is here. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were finally unable to take it anymore. Our man leaves the house early in the morning and returns late at night. Could it be that he is learning from others and keeping a mistress outside? After observing Death Mage for the past few days, he discovered that Death Mage was the same as well. Thus, he decided to tail Death Mage. Yi Hua did not see Death Mage, but he saw Death Mage. Where is His Honor? Qingya asked gravely. Death Mage was about to pee in his pants. Could it be that I have to say that His Honor is currently acting as the bad guy? Kakik. Donghuang Baiji rolled her eyes. Speak human language. Kakik. Imperial translation. Madam, I don't know how to speak human language. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji naturally knew that Death Mage couldn't speak the human language. However, right now, I am even more curious about where did Yi Hua go. For him to be acting so mysteriously, he is definitely not doing anything good. This bastard bullied the two of us at night and even made us work during the day while he ran out to have fun. This is simply infuriating. He didn't care about his wife at all. She was so angry that she was about to cry. Hurry up and speak. Use your phone to type. Donghuang Baiji was very angry. These two are definitely covering up for each other. How would Death Mage dare to do such a thing? Thus, he lowered his head and remained silent. Even if you beat him to death, I won't betray His Honor. Qingya, there seems to be a village over there. Donghuang Baiji looked towards the distance. Qingya also looked over. Indeed, there were still a lot of people standing on the plaza. Let's go and take a look. Qingya said gravely. Death Mage hurriedly stood up. Looking at Death Mage's action, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji wanted to go and take a look even more, and in an instant, Qingya disappeared from where she was standing. However, on the plaza, Yi Hua was still acting cool. You lowly humans. To be able to become my slave is a blessing that you've accumulated in your previous life. Don't expect anyone to come and save you. Even if someone comes, I'll crush them and roast them on charcoal. Moreover, I'll roast them until they're so burnt that even dogs won't eat them. The moment Qingya and Donghuang Baiji came over, they heard those words. Their beautiful eyes immediately froze. Why is there an undead here as well? Also, why is the way he speaks so similar to my man? Yi Hua's heart thumped. He had a bad feeling about this. However, when the man who was kneeling on the ground saw the two women appear, his originally lifeless eyes lit up with hope. These two beauties were so beautiful. They must be fairies. Fairies sent by the heavens. They knew that he was in danger, so they made such arrangements. Goddess save me, ah. Goddess save us, we're going to be fried by him. Sister save us. He's so bad. Yi Hua. Why is it not Death Mage who appeared but my wife instead? What am I supposed to do? They still don't know who I am. Luckily, they shouldn't suspect me. Who are you? Qingya asked coldly. Dong Huangbaiji looked at the skeleton vigilantly. Right now, Yi Hua's back was facing his wife, and he was currently thinking of how to coax them away. These two women, they really came to spoil my plans. When I return home tonight, I'm going to spank my butt until it's swollen. Yi Hua could be seen slowly turning around, and his pair of empty eye sockets looked towards Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji. I'm someone you can't afford to offend. Yi Hua felt that it was very interesting to act cool in front of his wife. Hearing Yi Hua's words, Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji went into a daze. It has been a long time since someone dared to speak to me like this. Because those who dared to speak to me like this did not have a good ending, and all of them were wiped off by my man. However, today, there was a skeleton that dared to speak to me like this. He is simply courting death. Yi Hua felt that something was amiss. Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji are acting a bit strange. I didn't even scold you two. Is there a need for you two to show such a face? I dare you to say that one more time. Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji landed down from the sky and glared at Yi Hua angrily. It seemed like they would start a fight if Yi Hua didn't like what Yi Hua said. These two women are getting arrogant. To actually dare to speak to me like this, they are truly asking for a beating. You two women, if you are tactful, then hurry up and scram. Don't disturb me while I am killing people here. Yi Hua shouted out coldly. The best result would be to scare the two of them away. However, were Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji people that could be scared away? What kind of big scene had they not seen with Yi Hua before? This is just a small skeleton, and yet, it actually dares to be so arrogant. Being shouted at by a skeleton once again, Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji felt a bit uncomfortable. The main thing was that they had been living comfortably, and now, a skeleton suddenly popped out and acted so arrogantly. For a moment, they didn't know what to say. Do you know who I am? Qingya shouted out. Yi Hua nearly collapsed from laughing. You women, at such a crucial moment, you still have to bring me out. I don't know. Yi Hua said faintly. Qingya was very angry and shouted out loudly, I am. Before Qingya could finish speaking, Dong Huangbaiji covered Qingya's mouth. Don't say it out loud, if not, other people would think that we are relying on our men. Qingya became muddle-headed from anger. She habitually brought out her own man and forgot that she was also a very formidable woman. Yi Hua was indeed enduring it. These two women are truly too adorable. Other people always talk about the 7-year itch my ass. I am starting to like them more and more. They are truly mischievous. Today, I shall just tease them a little. Who are you? Even if you are the woman of the emperor, I would still dare to beat you up. Yi Hua was very arrogant. In any case, Qingya had never seen someone as arrogant as Yi Hua. Dong Huangbaiji appeared to be rather calm. If you knew, you definitely wouldn't have said such a thing. Hee, I know that your backer is very formidable, and he is definitely a handsome and confident man. Furthermore, he is also very ambitious, and he has a grand ambition. That kind of excellence is something that no one can compare to. After praising himself, Yi Hua looked towards the sky at a 45 degrees angle, seemingly like he was sighing at how outstanding he was. End of this chapter. Chapter 926. Qingya and Dong Huangbaiji stared blankly at the skeleton. This is simply. He is too similar to Yi Hua. He is simply an extremely narcissistic maniac. You won't understand me. I was just talking about myself. Don't misunderstand. Yi Hua rubbed his head out of conditioned reflex, and suddenly discovered that. Right now he seemed to be bald, the kind that doesn't have any hair, balding. Dong Huangbaiji felt that she was being looked down upon. It's fine if she was being looked down upon, but I am Yi Hua's wife, and I can't let this matter rest just like this. All right. Since that's the case, we can only compete with each other. Dong Huangbaiji was not afraid. No matter what, she was an empress in the past, and her imposing manner was extremely powerful. Yi Hua didn't have a good feeling about this. Am I really going to fight? This wife hitting her husband. You guys are simply too arrogant. I won't lower myself to the same level as a woman. Yi Hua said in disdain. Hee, I think you are just a piece of trash. Qingya shouted coldly, and a ribbon suddenly condensed out from her body. The ribbon was emitting a blue radiance, and it looked very gentle. The corner of Yi Hua's mouth twitched. This is the weapon that I gave to Qingya, and the weapon that I gave to my wife is naturally the most formidable one. Sun chasing 3 pure ones. It was a top-notch primordial divine weapon. Although it looked like a soft ribbon, being whipped by it could cause one's soul to tremble. In fact, it even had a passive skill, soul burn. In any case, being whipped by it would definitely make one feel good from head to toe. Qingya's strength isn't weak. Although she is a bit weaker than me, this 3 clear ones chasing sun is still my nemesis. This 3 clear ones chasing sun is a soul attack weapon. Although it won't be able to injure me, if I get hit by it, I will definitely roll my eyes. Back then, he had given it to Qingya so that she could protect herself. He had never expected that it would be used against him. This shameless Qingya, I am your husband, and you actually used this kind of thing to slap me. Do you believe that I will slap you tonight? Seeing that the skeleton had a slightly fearful look on its face, Qingya snorted. Now that you know fear, kneel down and call me grandma, I will give you a quick death. Yi Hua. Great aunt, last night the 2 of you were still calling me that. Could it be that the 2 of you have forgotten? A vile person intoxicated by success. Yi Hua snorted. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out, and a sword appeared in her hand. Yi Hua felt like covering his head. These 2 women have cheated me of quite a lot of things, especially when they are flirting on the bed. For example, hubby, I want it, just give me a little. No one could stop these 2 women from acting coquettishly. As for this sword, its name was Destiny Seeker. The name sounded very romantic, but that was impossible. There was no such thing as a desolate era divine weapon. Even if this sword was giving off a pink glow, it would give off a feeling of love. But if you know, the specialty of this sword is that it asks fate, commonly known as follow fate sword technique. The biggest characteristic of the random fate sword technique is fate. It was like a sword stabbing over. If it was determined to be fated, no matter how one dodged, it would be useless. In any case, it would be stabbed. In the beginning, Dong Huang Baiji felt that it looked good, and thus, she chose this one Fan. Yi Hua expressed that he didn't mind. After all, this one Fan is not going to be used to deal with me. But now, both of them had taken it out. It was simply shameless. You guys took my things and went against me. How can you be my wife? When I return this time, I will definitely punish you guys. I will let you guys know that hitting your husband is wrong. Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji took out their weapons, causing the villagers to cheer. These 2 beauties were experts with just a look, and they were scared to the point that they peed in their pants. Hee, if you have the ability, let's compete with our fists. Yi Hua said in disdain. However, Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji were not that stupid. A set of armor suddenly condensed on their bodies. This caused Yi Hua to want to cry. These are all things that I gave them to save their lives. Today, I have really kicked an iron board. Should I be a coward? On Qingya's delicate body, a set of aqua blue armor condensed, perfectly matching with the blue ribbon. Her entire person looked very beautiful, simply to the point of being unbelievably beautiful, indescribable with words. This set of armor was also one of Yi Hua's trump cards. Its name was Qi Shao. It was able to be immune to spells. Just based on this point, it was able to restrain me. Even if I were to throw a spell at it, although it would not be able to achieve true immunity, the power of the spell would definitely be weakened. And the immunity to spells was just one of the effects. There was also the ability to reflect damage from spells. This Qingya, when I return this time, I will make sure that you won't be able to get out of bed for a week. It is useless even if you beg me, and it is useless even if you cry. Other than reflecting damage from spells, there was also set attribute. That's right. It didn't exist at first, but it was added by me. When 3 clear ones is paired with Qi Shao, the set effect that will be triggered will be the weakening of the enemy's fighting strength. This was all an idea that I came up with to protect my beloved wife, but in the end, second, the effect of all skills will be doubled. This is simply greatly weakening my fighting strength. This is the equipment of a nouveau riche, an equipment that can't even be bought with money. Third, set skill, lawless. Yi Hua was helpless about this skill. It was a passive skill. Just from the name alone, one could tell that it would allow you to be lawless and increase your fighting strength for an hour. In any case, Ya's set of equipment would definitely be able to completely restrain me. I must have been blind to give Ya this set of equipment back then. Meanwhile, the armor that Donghuang Baiji was wearing was even more awesome. Its entire body was emitting out a golden white light, and it looked very sacred and inviolable. However, I have decided that tonight, I will properly violate you all from head to toe. This set of armor is called Benevolent Underworld Immortal. It has a very overpowered passive skill. Heal. And it is an automatic heal. As long as you are in the middle of a battle, even if you are injured, the armor will be able to slowly heal you. Furthermore, it is an AoE heal. Of course, the AoE heal is just one of the features of the armor. There is another feature that is even more awesome, and that is buff. That's right, this kind of buff is also an AoE. In the past, Yihua felt that Donghuang Baiji liked to fight with soldiers, so he specially gave her such a good thing. In the end, I never would have thought that she would use it against me first. What is after the buff is added? Benevolent Underworld Immortal. Underworld and Immortal seem to be conflicting, but when combined with a set of armor, the level of defense that this set of armor has become extremely overpowered. It is the same for magic defense as well. Although it is not as immune to magic like Ya's, the overall effect of this set of armor is rather strong. Furthermore, when Fengming and Benevolent Underworld Immortal also have set effects, the chances of triggering random sword technique, the chances of triggering top-notch buffs, and the chances of triggering full recovery are greatly increased. Don't look down on these three things. If you are lucky, you will be unkillable. End of this chapter. Chapter 927. These two women are way too daring to actually show off such an awesome acting cool in front of a little skeleton. They are simply flaunting themselves, commonly known as acting cool. I wonder who they learned from to actually like acting cool so much. When I return, I must have a good talk with them. With such equipment, do I look like a boss? Everyone says that I am a good person. I swear, when I return tonight, I am going to spank their little butts. Because I am going to get beaten up very soon. What? Why do you think I am going to get beaten up? Could it be that you want me to spank my wife later? Do I look like that kind of person who would spank his wife? Obviously not. I never spank my wife. Firstly, I can't bear to, and secondly, what if my wife cries after being beaten up? Wouldn't I have to go and coax my wife? In the end, I would still be the one at a disadvantage. But I can't just admit defeat, right? Fortunately, I still have some cards up my sleeves. There are still quite a few good fellows. Evil thief, hurry up and surrender. Donghuang Baiji pointed her sword at Yihua. Damn it! Empress, you are really something to actually point your sword at your husband. Just you wait, if I don't beat you to death tonight. You are too arrogant. Ya shouted out coldly. Evil thief, today, we will let you have a taste of our methods. We will beat you until you can't even stand up. Yihua, good fellow, you guys are awesome. I swear once again, for the next 1 month, you guys can spend your time on the bed. I will let you guys cry for your parents. Alright. Today, I will let you guys know what is called power. Yihua shouted out. If you want to fight, then come at me. Whoever is a coward is a grandson. Just what we want, let's change to another place. Alright. After speaking, the three disappeared from where they were standing. The commoners were all dumbstruck. They really started fighting just like that? Shouldn't they say something to each other? This is a bit too sloppy. The three immediately moved to a desolate and uninhabited place. This place was a world of ice and snow, the sky was gloomy, and the cold wind was whistling, bringing along bone-piercing coldness. However, this kind of coldness was nothing to the three of them. That's right, Ya and Donghuang Baiji wanted to kill Yihua. Thinking about it, Yu Tong is still the most obedient. These two are truly too mischievous. Today I must teach them a good lesson. At this moment, Death Mage had also arrived not too far away. It's over. His Honor and your wife are fighting. What should I do? Should I call someone over to stop the fight? He still had to call for help. Thus, Death Mage immediately called for his wife, Sun Fong. What it meant was, His Honor is hitting your wife. Quickly come and stop the fight. At Voidless Empire, Sun Fong was currently lying on a rocking chair and reading a book when she suddenly received Death Mage's message. He immediately sat up. What? His honor hit your wife. Look. Holy shit. Sun Fong felt that she was about to rush over, but she suddenly stopped. This. Should I call my good sisters over as well? Sun Fong's good sister was Tang Wei. Because the two of them were in the same boat, she had a man but couldn't enjoy the happiness of being a woman. Tang Wei received a message from Sun Fong. Astonishment filled his heart. His honor hit his wife. Oh my god. It was too cruel. You want us to go and watch the show? No. I have to inform Uncle Wei. Tang Wei immediately informed Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei was shocked. His honor actually hit his wife in broad daylight. And he even asked us subordinates to go and watch the show. Oh my god. His honor is so awesome. Wei Chong immediately informed all of his subordinates. Everyone was stupefied. His honor hit his wife, and he even asked us to go and watch the show. What is the meaning of this? Is this saying that his honor even dares to hit his wife, let alone his subordinates? His honor is so cruel, he even asked his subordinates to go and watch the show when he hit his wife. So perverted. Death Mage's message was misunderstood layer by layer, from stopping the fight to watching the show, and then from watching the show to domestic violence and letting his subordinates watch. All of Death Mage's subordinates immediately rushed over to Death Mage's location. However, Yihua still didn't know what was going on, and he was currently thinking about how he should teach these two mischievous wives a lesson. However, since you two acted cool in front of me just now, I will have to act cool in return. Who asked me to be the act cool king? What? Do you want to fight with us empty-handed? We won't kill trash like you who doesn't have any equipment. Qingya snorted, looking very tsundere. Yihua. Damn it, how many times have you two scolded me as trash today? Seems like I have doted on you two too much, causing you two to become very arrogant. If you two want equipment, I will grant you two your wish. Today, I will defeat you two and make you two my slaves. I will tie you two up on the bed and humiliate you two. Yihua decided that when he returned home tonight, he would do an Asian bondage. Upon hearing that, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were both ashamed and angry. Qingya, swear that I will break your bones into pieces, then throw them into Wuxia Empire's smelly ditch until they rot. Qingya was really angry. The other party actually has such a crazy idea. Don't they know that I am Yihua's woman? If that jealous king were to hear what Qingya said, he would definitely flip out. When Yihua heard Qingya's scolding, he became so angry that he actually wanted to throw me into the sewers. Sure. You two are awesome. Wait for me to choose a set of equipment first. Yihua could be seen choosing a set of armor first. It was a gray armor that had a red pattern on it. The red pattern was flowing like fresh blood, making one's hair stand on end. Guanchang. A rather awesome prehistoric artifact. Passive effect. Lowers a female's fighting strength, causing the female's body to become soft. When the female's opponent receives damage, there is a certain chance that the female's opponent will be paralyzed for 1 second. Don't look down on the fact that it is only 1 second. To an expert, a lot of things can be done in 1 second. Of course, the defensive power of the armor was rather awesome as well. Yihua thought to himself, the person who created this armor is definitely a pitiful person. How much does he hate his wife? As expected, when the armor appeared, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji immediately felt that their aura was being suppressed, and they even felt that their bodies were becoming a bit soft and a bit sleepy. Yihua also found a weapon that could restrain them. Plum Blossom Club. Although the name is a bit tacky, this big and thick club has an automatic shrinking function. Looking at the body of the club, there are even some plum blossom imprints on it. It looks very gaudy. However, these are not the main point. This Plum Blossom Club has a useful passive effect. To be precise, it is a bit strange. As long as one is touched by the club, one would feel a kind of numb feeling. Although this Plum Blossom Club is not a top-notch prehistoric artifact, its passive effect is simply unrivaled. Look at how good I am to you too. Even now, I am still thinking about your comfort. I have it easy. I work diligently every day to make you two feel good. Yet, the next day, you two still say that I am bullying you two. You two are simply shameless. Look at you two, all of you are using killing moves. End of this chapter. Chapter 928. Today, I am going to use this stick to teach you all a lesson. My dignity is not to be trampled on. Just as Yi Hua was about to start beating his wife, he suddenly felt a huge aura coming over. When Yi Hua saw the huge aura, the corner of his mouth twitched. Damn it! I am about to start beating my wife. Why did these subordinates come over? Are they here to watch a show? They definitely are. It must be Death Mage who called them over. F*** me. Death Mage, I let you be the male lead, and this is how you repay me. Right now, Death Mage had a stupefied look on his face. Why are all of them here? This isn't right. Death Mage hurriedly pulled Sun Fong to the side, then began making hand gestures. Didn't you tell me to call them over to watch a show? Sun Fong asked curiously. Watch your sister's show, this is his honor's family matter, and you still called so many people over to watch a show. I'm finished. I'm finished. The subordinates thought that Death Mage was joking. After all, his honor loves his wife so much, how could he possibly beat his wife? However, looking at the current situation, his honor actually revealed his true form, and he is really starting to beat his wife. His honor is so cruel, in order to beat his wife, he actually changed back to his true form. Death Mage immediately explained. Death Mage kept on explaining while laughing. Wei Chong finally understood. So his honor was acting, and when he was seen by your wife, she thought that his honor was a bad person, and thus she started beating him up. Lai Gu was startled for a moment, then watched on happily. His honor is definitely not willing to beat your wife. He is definitely going to be abused today. Speaking of which, I have never seen his honor being abused before. Therefore, I have to record the entire process. Zishan said softly, his honor is too careless, how did he get caught? That's right, I feel sorry for his honor. Li Hun said softly while holding on to Do Fusher's arm. His honor is definitely going to be beaten up today, and he won't be able to fight back. However, the subordinates thought to themselves, to be able to see his honor getting beaten up is also a very glorious thing. After all, I have never seen his honor getting beaten up by his wife before. Haha, this is too interesting. Are we going to put on an act now? Yi Hua hurriedly shouted. Get lost. Stop watching the show here. However, the subordinates pretended that they didn't hear what his honor said. In the past, his honor often gossips about subordinates. Then shouldn't we gossip about his honor? Besides, now that his honor isn't here, I have to listen to his honor's wife. The group of subordinates immediately kneeled down towards Qingya and Donghuang Baiji. Madam, do you need us to take action? Wei Chong respectfully asked. After Yi Hua heard that, the corner of his mouth twitched, and he instantly understood what these fellows meant. You guys are not bad. All of you, break up with me. Those who are already married, get a divorce. Back then, I shouldn't have acted as a matchmaker for you all, ungrateful subordinates. Donghuang Baiji said gravely, this kind of trash, we are more than enough. You guys just stand there and watch. All of his honor's subordinates were startled. Madam, you actually scolded his honor as a trash. This... Yi Hua was already unable to hold himself back anymore. He had already been scolded by them for countless of times. You guys are the trash. You are a huge piece of trash, a piece of trash that no one wants. Yi Hua immediately retorted back. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji nearly went crazy. He actually said that no one wanted us. Qingya immediately scolded back. You damned skeleton, you definitely did all sorts of evil when you were alive, that's why you were cursed to become a skeleton. You who no one loves, you will be like this for the rest of your life. Damn trash. F***K. You crazy woman. You are definitely going through menopause. I reckon that your man has had enough of you and is preparing to dump you. Don't think that just because you guys are pretty, you guys are inflated. You guys don't even have breasts. You guys don't even have buttocks. Just looking at you guys makes me lose my appetite. All of his honor subordinates were dumbstruck when they saw how his honor and Madam His Honor were talking. Are you too serious? Don't take it seriously. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were about to go crazy from anger. This damned skeleton actually cursed us and said that no one wants us. Doesn't he know that Yi Hua dotes on us the most? Donghuang Baiji shouted out angrily. What does a trash skeleton like you know? Our husband is unrivaled under the heavens. A trash like you, with just a fart, you would be gone. Look at those people at the side, They are all my husband's subordinates. Any one of them would be able to poke you to death. Humph. These two women are using me to act cool again. Other than using me to act cool, what other abilities do you two have? Hee hee, these trash aren't my opponent at all. If you don't believe me, you can call one of them over and give it a try. Yihua decided to teach his subordinates a lesson first. To actually dare to watch me being put on a good show, they are truly going against their superiors. All of Yihua's subordinates immediately shrunk back. Do Fusher, you go. Qingya shouted out. Do Fusher was in despair. Why am I always the one who gets injured? That is his honor. Aren't you just courting death by asking me to go up and fight with his honor? That fellow called Do Fusher. Get the hell out here. Yihua shouted out coldly. Li Hun's heart ached. My husband is going to be taught a lesson by his honor. Can't he just change to someone else? Although Li Hun's heart ached, for the sake of dispelling his honor's anger, I can only... a kick. Do Fusher was immediately kicked out of the group. What a pitiful Do Fusher to be sold by his wife. Do Fusher swears, even if you kneel down this time, I, Do Fusher, will not go to your bed. I will definitely not let you have your way. Hubby, you can do it. Li Hun could be seen taking out a ribbon ball from God knows where and actually became a cheerleader for Do Fusher. Do Fusher stood at the front of the group. I don't know if I should go, but I also don't know if I should go back or not. This is so awkward. Why did I come here to watch a show? If I had known that this would happen, I wouldn't have come out just now. It would have been much better to just hide at home and sleep. At least it would have been better than becoming a punching bag for his honor. The main point is that I cannot expose his honor's identity. After all, even your wife doesn't know of his honor's true identity. Do Fusher, don't be afraid. You can fight against 10 of these trash alone. Qingya snorted. Qingya was very clear about the strength of Yihua's subordinates. Do Fusher was in despair. This isn't a matter of whether I am afraid or not. I can still fight against 10 of his honor. But his honor can already fight against 10 of me. Madam, don't anger his honor. When the time comes, his honor is going to cook me. Do Fusher. Do Fusher's subordinates discovered that his honor's wife was very crazy when she scolded his honor. Yihua held onto his plum blossom club and shouted out angrily, "Get the hell down here and receive your death." Do Fusher was about to cry, but he had no choice but to get down from the plum blossom club. Afterward, Do Fusher pretended to be imposing and attacked Yihua. Your honor, I am also a victim. When Do Fusher got close to Yihua, he immediately begged for forgiveness. Yihua snorted, "Count yourself unlucky." Do Fusher. Yihua could be seen sending Do Fusher flying with a kick, then shouted out towards Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, "This is subordinate? He is just as trash as the two of you." Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were a little astonished. This Do Fusher couldn't have gone easy on Do Fusher, right? End of chapter. Chapter 929. Heh, this kind of trash shouldn't be sent to death. You two can come at me. Yihua crooked his finger towards Qingya and Donghuang Baiji. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji did not waste any time and rushed forward together. Yihua took a deep breath. Don't think that the two of them are very weak. One of them is from Nuwa clan, and the other is from Donghuang clan. Furthermore, when they were giving birth to a child, the power of my bloodline was added into the child, and adding on the bonus from this set of equipment, the strength of the two of them was not to be underestimated. These two cheated and stole my bloodline power. If I don't use my mystical fire, it will be hard to determine who will win. But to use mystical fire on them? Is there something wrong with his brain? If something happens, he will regret it to death. Do Fusher secretly returned to the group, and then, the group of subordinates began watching the fight between his honor and his wife. Not sure who it was, but crunching sounds could be heard. Yi Hong is actually looking at her purple robe eating potato chips. Damn. In the end, Tang Wei and Li Hun also hid at the back and ate potato chips while watching his honor being abused. Your wife is finally helping us subordinates vent our anger. On the battlefield, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji immediately took out their weapons. Qingya's chasing Sun 3 Pure Ones carried a soul attack, while Donghuang Baiji's Ask Fate carried a fate attack. Yihua immediately waved the Plum Blossom Club in his hand and fought against the two wives by himself. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were not fooling around. A terrifying aura immediately reverberated throughout the entire world, and the snowy weather immediately disappeared. It didn't disappear, it melted. When the three weapons came into contact with each other, a terrifying gale emerged, and the surrounding area was instantly affected. Luckily, there was no one here. If not, everyone would have been instantly killed. Yi Hua was greatly startled. These two women are serious. Just as Yi Hua was startled, a comfortable feeling that came from his soul emerged. However, Dong Huang Baiji's Ask Fate actually triggered fate. The Plum Blossom Club that was originally blocked by Yi Hua actually poked into my armor. All of my passive abilities were triggered at this moment. Yi Hua felt that his soul was being electrocuted, and Qingya felt that she was trembling. Dong Huang Baiji felt that she was being paralyzed. This scene caused the subordinates to be dumbfounded. What kind of operation was this? Is this even possible? How strange. It was as if his honor had been electrocuted, and his honor's wife trembled and became motionless. A second later, the two women immediately distanced themselves from each other, their eyes filled with horror. This skeleton was actually able to block their attacks. How was this possible? I was the one who acted like a spoiled child and asked Yi Hua for my equipment, and they were all Yi Hua's precious items. However, they were actually blocked by a skeleton. Unimaginable. Qingya, this skeleton is not simple. Dong Huang Baiji said gravely. Qingya nodded her head, then said in a low voice, "And when I touched its weapon just now, I felt as if I was paralyzed. Just now, I was also paralyzed for a second. Fortunately, your weapon has soul attack capabilities. Just now my fate-seeking was also activated, but it's a pity that it wasn't able to pierce through its armor." Dong Huang Baiji cried out in pity. According to what Yi Hua said, the probability of fate-seeking being activated is still very low. From the looks of it, its weapons and equipment are not ordinary, and it is even on par with ours. Qingya's gaze became solemn. I didn't expect that the skeleton that we met today would be so formidable. From the looks of it, this skeleton is a bit troublesome. Dong Huang Baiji nodded her head. From the looks of it, we have to have a good talk with Yi Hua today. After all, there is a very powerful enemy that we are not a match for. That's right, we cannot be careless with this matter. Let's see if we are able to get rid of it first. All right. Let's activate a bit more of the buff. That would be even better. Yi Hua was very gloomy right now. If I were to injure them, my heart would ache, but if I don't attack them, I wouldn't feel good. The main point is that they are very strong. Unless I use my deviant fire, I won't be able to deal with them. Just as Yi Hua was pondering, Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji had already started their attacks. Qingya shouted out angrily, "Lawless!" Yi Hua paused for a moment. Lawless? Tonight, I will teach you what is truly lawless. However, after activating lawless, Qingya's aura became even more berserk. Wei Chong was very surprised, and couldn't help but say, "Your wife's strength is truly a bit scary." That's right, she is about to surpass us. Lai Gu said in a low voice. Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji's strength had indeed somewhat surpassed the 7 deadly sins, but that was after they obtained Yi Hua's bloodline power. If not for Yi Hua's bloodline, they wouldn't be so powerful. Of course, the bonuses from the equipment that they were wearing also had to be counted. It was impossible for Yi Hua to win against his wife today, unless he really had the heart to fight against her. Right now, Dong Huang Baiji's benevolent navigator underworld fairy was releasing all kinds of dazzling lights, which were all kinds of buffs. Immediately, Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji's battle power rose, and even the HP recovery aura was still active. Yi Hua felt uncomfortable. You two are bullying me a bit. If you have the ability, then fight me one-on-one. What's the big deal about 2 against 1? It's like this on the bed, it's also like this outside the bed. You two are simply shameless. Right now, Yi Hua wanted to use spells, but when he thought about Qingya's Crimson Heaven, which has the ability to reflect spell damage, and now that he has also used Lawless, all of his subordinates have buffs, I reckon that if I were to use a spell, 70% of the spell damage will be reflected back to my body. However, it seems like I won't be able to compete with them in strength. Qingya's weapon made my soul feel refreshed, and if I were to come into contact with them again right now, it would definitely feel even more refreshed. After all, there are many layers of buffs added onto my body. Why is their luck so good to actually trigger so many buffs added onto my body? It can't be that they used money, right? This time, Yi Hua didn't fight head-on. If he fought head-on, he would be at a disadvantage. What should I think of? Just as Yi Hua was thinking of a way, he suddenly heard snap, snap. These were 2 snaps of fingers. Yi Hua was dumbstruck as he looked at the wedding rings on their hands. F***K. I forgot that they still have the unlimited rings. MD. They are going too far. 2 shackles could be seen appearing on Yi Hua's body, directly locking him up. Qingya, go. Donghuang Baiji shouted out lightly. This was a good opportunity. Qingya shouted out, evil thief. Dang. Qingya could be seen throwing out her chasing sun 3 pure ones, and this terrifying ancient god artifact instantly wrapped around Yi Hua. A tremor that came from within Yi Hua's soul caused Yi Hua to roll his eyes. Although Yi Hua's eye sockets were still black, right now, Yi Hua was indeed rolling his eyes. These 2 stinky bitches. Good job, the 2 of you are going to die. I can very responsibly tell you too. You 2 are going to die. Looking at this scene, LV Liang said in a low voice. His honor is so miserable. He is being beaten up by the 2 madams. That's right. Luo Ho said in a low voice. He didn't dare to speak too loudly. Wei Chong was still very worried about his honor. If this goes on, his honor is going to be played to death. End of this chapter. Chapter 930. Lai Gu secretly took out his phone and filmed the fight, then said in a low voice, his honor is in trouble this time, your wife is serious. That's right, she is especially serious. It is as if she wants to kill his honor. Yi Hong said in a low voice. I didn't expect that your wife, who usually looks so weak and weak, would be even more ferocious than his honor in a fight. Just look at his honor, even he is being tortured by that chasing sun 3 pure ones. Towards this chasing sun 3 Qing, Wei Chong and Lai Gu of the 7 deadly sins knew about it. This chasing sun 3 Qing was indeed a deadly weapon. It doesn't cause any harm to the body, but the harm it can cause to the soul is simply explosive. I never would have thought that his honor would actually give this weapon to his honor's wife. This is simply torturing oneself. At this moment, Lai Gu said in a low voice, on the day of his honor's wedding, I will release this video. His honor was beaten up by your wife. Wei Chong teased, if that happens, you will definitely be stewed, 100%. That won't happen, his honor has already said it for a few hundred years. But aren't I still fine? The main point is, his honor is becoming more and more human-like. This sentence was the most pertinent evaluation. If it was in the past, if your subordinates dared to come and look at me as a joke, I would beat them up one by one. The current Yi Hua was much more magnanimous. At most, he would just scold them and not beat them up. Dou Fusher could be said to be unlucky. On the stage, Yi Hua was tied up by the chasing sun 3 pure ones. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji took a look at each other. This is a good opportunity. King Luo Rune. Qingya shouted out, and a purple light immediately emerged from her hands. Below Yi Hua's body, a King Luo rune immediately condensed, and a terrifying suction force sucked Yi Hua down from the sky. Inside the rune, a deathly aura could be felt, and the people outside the rune were unable to feel anything. However, right now, Yi Hua could feel that the cold light in the rune was just like a substance, intertwining on his bones. This Qingya. She is indeed ruthless. She is using the techniques that I taught her to deal with me. The problem is, the techniques that I taught her are all absolute techniques, and they are all extremely powerful techniques that are only inferior to deviant flames. However, this was not the end. The purple light in Qingya's hands condensed, and soon after, it left Qingya's hands and slowly flew towards Yi Hua. It gradually stopped above Yi Hua's head. This caused Yi Hua to be a bit angry. You guys are really going too far. Right after Yi Hua finished thinking, the purple light directly descended. Although the purple lightning wasn't big, it directly landed on Yi Hua's bald head. Yi Hua's entire body turned purple, and his entire body was trembling. The 2 rays of purple light alternated between each other, causing Yi Hua to feel extremely comfortable. Empyrean impermanence. Right at this moment, Donghuang Baiji shouted out, and the one fate sword in her hand started emitting out a terrifying aura, causing the entire sky to instantly change. Dark clouds covered the sky and thunder rumbled. The huge roar seemed to pierce through the heavens and earth. When fate was originally emitting a pinkish glow of starlight, but it gradually turned red. The red lightning on the sword seemed to be out of control, flying everywhere. As long as this red lightning came into contact with it, it would instantly turn into dust. Behind Donghuang Baiji, an enormous illusory figure could be seen condensing out. This illusory figure was similarly emitting out a power that could destroy the heavens and exterminate the earth, causing Donghuang Baiji to look just like a goddess of war that had descended to the mortal world. It's over, his honor is going to die. Lai Gu cried out in alarm. This is too ferocious. These two madams are truly fighting with no regard for their lives. After all, if I miss this opportunity, I won't be able to get another opportunity like this again. The subordinates were indeed a bit worried for his honor. After all, his honor wouldn't hit his wife. However, his honor's wife doesn't know about Yi Hua's true body, and thus, his honor's wife will definitely go all out. Each and every one of his honor's moves were filled with killing intent. Donghuang Baiji waved the one fate sword in her hand, and the enormous illusory figure behind Donghuang Baiji did the same as well. When the enormous one fate sword was lifted up, the air seemed to have been sucked dry, and the entire sky could see the enormous sword falling down while bringing along a gale with it. However, just by falling down from the sky, the entire ground was instantly unable to support itself. Countless cracks spread out, and there was even a terrifying collapse that appeared on the ground. When Yi Hua saw this, he scolded in his heart. These two crazy bitches. Is there a need for you to do this? Which eye of yours saw me do something that goes against the heavens? You two are simply unreasonable, and I am unable to communicate with you two. Both of you are using big moves to kill me. You two are simply shameless. The main point is, I am being entangled by the things that I created. Soul attack, confinement, and electric shock. Do you want me to drip wax on you two to satisfy that perverted desire of yours? Looking at the enormous one fate sword falling down, Yi Hua could feel the boundless power coming from it. The Empress is indeed ferocious, to actually murder her own husband. If I were to die, you two can just go and cry. It will be too late for regrets. Kacha! A clear and melodious sound suddenly rang out from the Guanchong armor that Yi Hua was wearing, and a crack could be seen appearing on the right side of his chest. The crack immediately spread throughout the entire armor. After suffering from so many different kinds of injuries, the armor had already reached its limit. In just a short breath of time, the Guanchong armor on Yi Hua's body turned into pieces of rocks and fell off. There's no helping it, they are truly too ferocious, and the enormous sword that is on top of my head is truly trying to take my life. Boom! When Fate's sword finally landed, and the entire ground was trembling crazily. The terrifying aura caused even the sky to stop rumbling, and at this moment, everything seemed to have lost its splendor. Yi Hua steadily received the attacks from his two wives. I don't know how he feels, but one thing is for sure, he will definitely feel uncomfortable. The terrifying destructive power shocked all the subordinates, and they felt that your wife was about to die. If I beat up his honor like this, it is very likely that I will suffer from his honor's domestic violence. Hitting her husband was fun for a while, but when she got home, he was a washboard. Humph! You all are truly looking down on me too much. Yi Hua's voice slowly rang out. This caused Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji to be incomparably shocked. This skeleton is actually still able to speak after suffering from two powerful attacks. How is this possible? Donghuang Baiji had been using the things that Yi Hua taught her, but it was actually useless. Could it be that this skeleton is more powerful than Yi Hua? How is this possible? Yi Hua often says that he is the most powerful one. Then what is this thing? Is this Yi Hua's twin brother? Yi Hua's voice could be heard once again ringing out from within the dust cloud. Super transformation. The subordinates. When did his honor learn to transform? Transform into a cross-dresser? This was a little too careless. Yi Hua finally took out his trump card. This was the technique that Yi Hua had developed by himself, super transformation. As the name suggested, it was to achieve a more perfect state. It was commonly known as handsome. Along with Yi Hua shouting out, super transformation, all of the surrounding techniques dissipated, and right now, only Yi Hua's skeleton remained. All of his weapons and equipment had dissipated just a moment ago. Looking at his honor's current appearance, everyone went into a daze. His honor is still as fond of the color gold as before, to actually change his skeleton into the color gold. End of this chapter. Chapter 931. Indeed, Yi Hua's originally eerie white bones were dyed with a layer of gold, and there was even a bit of reflection on the bones. Especially that golden bald head of his. It carried the smell of a nouveau riche. Yi Hua had never used this super transformation, and it could be considered as a secret. Its effect is a bit similar to Qing Ya's lawless. Both of them are able to increase all of one's abilities, and can be said to be invincible. At the very least, Yi Hua felt that he could beat his wife to his heart's content. These two mischievous eggs are actually so savage. Today, I will teach you how to be a good wife. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji both sensed Yi Hua's aura, and their hearts became very heavy. Because this golden skeleton looked a lot stronger than before. He even felt that he was no match for it. What should he do? Baiji, we have to go and look for Ye Hua. Qing Ya said gravely. This skeleton's strength had already surpassed my imagination. Donghuang Baiji felt the same as well. This golden skeleton is no longer something that I can deal with by myself. Look at the aura that is emitting from the golden skeleton. It has already become extremely terrifying. You two women today, I will let the two of you know what pain is. Yi Hua shouted out, and a terrifying aura immediately spread out. The expressions of his honor's subordinates changed. His honor has become stronger again. From the looks of it, I have to train hard too. Even the terrifying his honor didn't stop his footsteps, let alone me. Donghuang Baiji snorted. If you have the guts, then fight again. Yi Hua. I, the Supreme Overlord, have already used my ultimate move, and you actually said to wait before fighting again? How is that possible? Looks like you're afraid of me. Qing Ya shouted out in a low voice. Who is afraid of you? We just feel that we can't bully others with numbers. I, the Supreme Overlord. Can't the two of you find a better reason? I, the Supreme Overlord, have already allowed the two of you to bully me with numbers. Are you planning to make a strategic retreat? Yi Hua teased. These two foolish wives of mine are still rather smart. After knowing that they can't win against me, I, the Supreme Overlord, feel a bit more at ease. At the very least, I won't force myself to fight against them. Having their thoughts seen through by Yi Hua, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji both felt embarrassed. We have lost face for our husbands. If Yi Hua were to find out about this matter, he would definitely fly into a rage. Just you wait. Don't leave if you have the guts. Wait for me for a minute. That's right. Give us a minute and we'll show you what it means to be powerful. After finished speaking, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji disappeared from Baiji's sight. Yi Hua looked towards his subordinates, and the latter immediately disappeared. If we stay, we will be beaten up. Meanwhile, Yi Hua, who had transformed back into his human form, disappeared from the spot and reappeared in the imperial palace. Daji, serve the tea. Yi Hua walked into the bedroom and said, Master, your wife was looking for you everywhere just now. Daji said respectfully. Right after Daji finished speaking, Yi Hua heard the sound of hurried footsteps. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji's figures immediately arrived. Yi Hua looked towards the two women who were beating him up without any regard for their lives, and he really wanted to ruthlessly slap them. Just that. I didn't even cry, so why are you all crying? That's right, both Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji were crying, and both of them were hugging onto Yi Hua and crying loudly. Yi Hua was helpless. You guys are the ones who beat me up, yet you guys are already crying to this extent. Could it be that I, the Supreme Lord, still have to console you? If so, who is going to console me? What's the matter? Yi Hua was very curious. Why are these two women crying? Qing Ya said sadly, Yi Hua, we have lost face for you. Donghuang Baiji's tears flowed out non-stop. Yi Hua, we ran away. We got cold feet. Woo, you can just hit us. So that's the reason. These two foolish women, it is only normal for them to be unable to defeat me. If they were able to defeat me, how am I supposed to continue living in the underworld in the future? However, looking at how sad his wives were, Yi Hua sighed. Glory and humiliation are already won. They can't defeat others outside, so they treat it as them losing face for themselves. But look at the Empress, she still wants me to hit them. How can there be such a cute woman like you too? Alright, be good. Don't cry anymore. Yi Hua hurriedly consoled his two wives. Just now, the two of you were the fiercest, and how many times did you scold me for being trash? Hearing that Yi Hua was consoling them, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji cried even more fiercely. Yihua felt very helpless. The one who is consoling them is always me. All right, I will take revenge for you too. Really? Yihua, you are the best. That damned skeleton is simply too shameless. I am going to put its bones into the sewers to soak. Qingya said indignantly. To actually make me lose face in front of Yihua, that is an extremely heinous crime. Donghuang Baiji also said indignantly, Yihua, that skeleton is very formidable. You must beat it up ruthlessly, and you must hang it up and beat it up. Use your deviant fire to burn it, and you must not burn it to death. I am truly speechless. You are clearly scolding me, yet I still have to console you. This time, I am truly unlucky. All right, whatever you say. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji pulled Yihua and disappeared, and they immediately arrived at the scene. Yihua pretended to look at the scene. The two of you are fighting so fiercely. Where is he? Where is he? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji looked around, but were unable to find anyone. Immediately, they became unhappy. I called my husband over, but in the end, my husband disappeared. Don't you think that I should be angry? I have even thought of the lines to scold Yihua. Yihua, I reckon that skeleton retreated after knowing the difficulty. That's right, he definitely knew that he couldn't win against the skeleton, which is why he ran away. He is simply a despicable person. I am going to curse him for life. Black lines appeared on Yihua's forehead. You two actually want to curse me? Don't your conscience hurt? Didn't I treat you two well enough? All right, it's just a small matter. Calm down, calm down. Yihua hurriedly said. You two, stop cursing me. Yihua, I am just angry. I can't win against the skeleton. I have lost face for you. The Empress was also incomparably guilty. Yihua, quickly hit us, if not, I will feel uncomfortable. Yihua was helpless. Do you really want me to hit you? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji nodded their heads very seriously. All right, I won't be polite then. Yihua hugged onto Qingya and Donghuang Baiji and disappeared. As for what he went to do, he naturally went to bully his wife. I am also a man with a temper. Since you two are acting so recklessly, I have to calm down. However, in Water City's conference hall, the atmosphere was very tense. Other than the three Supremes, there were two other people. They were Meridian Break Sex Supremacy, Everlasting Hatred, and God Academy Supremacy Taiha. However, above the Sea of Innocence, there was a huge crowd of people. The reason why they came here today was to demand an explanation. How were they supposed to resolve this matter? May I know why the two of you have come from afar? Kong Feiqing spoke on behalf of the two Supremes. After all, Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci weren't in a good mood. End of this chapter. Chapter 932. Eternal Hatred's face was extremely gloomy, especially when he heard those words. He almost couldn't help but attack. What's the matter? Don't you know what you've done in Water City? Or are you provoking the entire Kangluo continent? Eternal Hatred shouted in a low voice, and the pressure of a supreme martial artist instantly spread out. Tai He, who was sitting at the side, closed his eyes and listened quietly. He seemed quite calm. Kong Feiqing and the others had no idea what was happening outside. They had been dealing with all kinds of important matters these days. Eternal Hatred, you've gone too far. Since the establishment of Water City, we have never participated in the affairs of your continent. How can you say that we're provoking you? I, Kong Feiqing, will not admit to such a false accusation. Kong Feiqing was quite unyielding. After all, he was a supreme martial artist. The situation that day was special. After all, the other party was too strong, so he had to be afraid. However, Eternal Hatred and Tai, he were also supreme martial artists. Kong Feiqing didn't have much fear. He didn't fear them at all. They could choose to fight one-on-one or in groups. If they really wanted to fight, Water City would accept it. Hearing Kong Feiqing's words, Eternal Hatred was so angry that he laughed. Don't you know what you've done in Water City? 2 waves of sea howls flattened coastal cities, and countless people died in the tsunami. And that so-called golden magma actually fell on the outer sect of my Broken Pulse sect. So many students died. Can you bear the responsibility for this? The three of them were stunned at first, but they immediately remembered what had happened. It was probably caused by the battle against the abyss wave a few days ago. Eternal Hatred saw their expressions and knew that they knew about it. So he was even more furious. Kong Feiqing heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci and said indifferently, "Do you know what happened to them?" "You're just spouting nonsense." Eternal Hatred said coldly. "Who knew what happened to them? I'm just a supreme martial artist, not a god of creation." "Their son died in the battle a few days ago," Kong Feiqing said in a low voice. Sure enough, Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci were very depressed when it came to this matter. They even clenched their fists. That day, their enemy was right in front of them, but they couldn't do anything. They even listened to him and let him go. They even begged him to go. This kind of situation made people feel despair. That kind of helplessness was really hateful. Taihe slowly opened his eyes and asked doubtfully, "What happened?" Kong Feiqing let out a breath and said in a deep voice, "In our water city, the old ancestor sealed a giant beast called the abyss wave in the magma. It is the burning fiend." Sure enough, everlasting sorrow and Taihe's expressions became solemn when they heard the words Burn Sha. Because the Burn Sha wasn't an ordinary colossus, it was a primordial divine beast. That day, we sealed it with all our might and fought against the burning fiend incantation. Perhaps it was the aftermath of the battle that led to such a tsunami. "We can't do anything about it," Kong Feiqing said helplessly. There were falsehoods and truths in his words. Of course it was a fight to the death. They had clearly run away. However, the aftershock from the battle was real. Lonesome Hatred didn't believe it and asked in a low voice, "What happened in the end? Where's Fan Sha?" "If Fan Sha was still here, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you." Kong Feiqing squeezed out a smile. In this battle, all of them had suffered losses, except for him. Taihe laughed, but this laughter contained contempt. It was as if he was saying, "You want to destroy the burning fiend with just you? How is that possible?" Of course, Lonesome Hatred wouldn't believe such a thing. The burning fiend was so powerful that even deities feared it. "You say that the three of you killed the burning fiend? Aren't you playing with children? Do you think that we are easy to deceive? Is the burning fiend something that the three of you can kill?" Lonesome Hatred wouldn't believe such a thing even if he was beaten to death. Kong Feiqing snorted, "Lonesome Hatred, just because you don't have the strength doesn't mean that my water castle doesn't have the strength, do you understand? Just now, when we came over, we discovered that there was a bit of a problem with your star cannons." At this moment, Taihe continued speaking. The star cannons were destroyed by Ran Yao that day, but how could a water castle without a star cannons do? Thus they made a fake one and placed the fake star cannons on the city walls, giving people a kind of illusion. From the outside, there was no difference between the fake star cannons and the fake star cannons. However, the fake star cannons were just empty shells, and were unable to gather energy. I didn't expect that Taihe would actually see through it. This water castle without a star cannons was just like a drunken lady, allowing people to do whatever they wanted and trample all over them. Kong Feiqing picked up the teacup in his hand and took a sip. "The star cannons are my water castle's secret treasures, and it was also the star cannons that destroyed the burning fiend." After saying this, Lonesome Hatred and Taihe started to believe him a little. After all, the star cannons of Water Castle were famous for being ruthless. The reason why they didn't directly attack was because they were afraid of this star cannons. It was said that even Supremes couldn't withstand a single shot from the star cannons and were instantly turned into dregs. Taihe understood now. It turned out that these star cannons had been fired before. No wonder it felt like there was nothing at all. Then what about the burning fiend's corpse? Lonesome Hatred asked in a deep voice. "You guys talked so much about the burning fiend, you have to at least let me see the corpse, right? After all, there's no proof for these words." Kong Feiqing stood up and took down a box from the shelf at the side. "The burning fiend's corpse is in this box." Kong Feiqing stretched out the small box in his hand. Lonesome Hatred and Taihe looked at the box, and the corners of their mouths twitched slightly. "Do you really think we're 3 years old? For a race like the burning fiend, no matter how weak it is, it's still as big as a person, right? I'm afraid you're trying to fool us with a cockroach's corpse. I know the doubts in your hearts. The burning fiend is indeed very big, but after it died, its body shrank, and it's about the same size as an ordinary spider. When Kong Feiqing brought people to look for the corpse, it really took them a long time to find it. It was really like looking for a needle in a haystack. Kong Feiqing opened the box, and Lonesome Hatred and Tai he both looked at it. It was like a dead spider with 8 legs bent, but its body was white, like a maggot. In fact, this was also the first time Lonesome Hatred and Tai he saw the burning fiend, and their eyes were filled with curiosity. After all, the burning fiend was something that even the gods were afraid of. For this water castle, it actually killed one. Was this real or fake? This is the burning fiend? Kong Feiqing, aren't you a little too careless? Lonesome Hatred couldn't feel any aura at all. It was just like an ordinary insect. I don't think so either. Tai he also said. Kong Feiqing closed the box and said in a deep voice, "How would you know? It doesn't matter, but I want to tell you that our water castle can destroy the burning fiend, and we won't be afraid of anyone." Kong Feiqing, is this the attitude of your water castle? Lonesome Hatred asked in a deep voice. Pai Liangjun stood up at this time. Lonesome Hatred, who can stop natural and man-made disasters? If you want to use this method to invade water castle, then let's fight. End of this chapter. Chapter 933. Fight. Bao Ci also stood up and shouted. His son and mount had died. He couldn't swallow this anger. Since they wanted to fight, then come. Water City wouldn't be afraid of them. Kong Feiqing didn't expect Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci to be so stubborn. They actually said they wanted to fight. How could he let them back down? He was just expressing his attitude. He didn't really want to fight. After all, the star cannon was gone. Without this powerful killing intent, it would be very difficult to deal with them. After all, there were more than 2 Supremes in the Kangluo continent. If a few more came, it would be a problem. Everlasting Hatred and Taiha's complexions worsened when they heard the attitude of these people. They were considering a problem. Should they fight or not? Since the other side's attitude was so unyielding, if they backed down now, wouldn't it make others think they were afraid of Water City? However, thinking of the star cannon outside, Everlasting Hatred and Taiha were a little worried. This wasn't a joke. Even Supremes were afraid of it. The atmosphere was so heavy that it even caused the air to quiet down. Kong Feiqing had his own worries, and so did Everlasting Hatred. Neither side wanted to fight, but if no one gave them a way out, they would have no choice but to fight. If a fight really broke out, Water City would definitely be at a disadvantage. After all, with Everlasting Hatred and Taiha's status, if the 2 of them called for the help of other Supremes, how could Water City resist them? The main problem was that the star cannon was gone, but the star cannon was still there. In fact, Water City's attitude could be even more unyielding. Both sides were in a deadlock, and it seemed like they would fight at any moment. At this time, Abalone suddenly appeared. Looking at the various supreme beings present, he slightly leaned forward and said in a gentle voice, "Seniors, please calm down. This entire matter is just a misunderstanding. If a fight breaks out, it will be the loss of both sides. Peace is the most important." With Abalone as a way out, the atmosphere finally relaxed. At least it wasn't the kind of situation where they would fight at any moment. Supreme Everlasting Sorrow, most of the people in Water City know that a burning fiend has appeared in Water City. There's no need for us to lie to you about such a thing. It's unavoidable for accidents to occur in battle. We, Water City, express our condolences to those who died in this disaster. What Abalone said was pertinent. At the very least, it made Everlasting Hatred and Tai he feel a lot more comfortable. However, it was only a little. This girl was good at talking, and she was much better than the other 3. Bao Ci was very puzzled. When did his daughter become so talkative? She had never seen Sharky so brave before. She belonged to the pretty girl from a humble family type. Of course, Abalone was not that kind of person. He was taught by Qi Shuwen. In Qi Shuwen's heart, his position in the Bao family was still too low. If he did something, it would be helpful in the future. Moreover, now was not the time to start a war. Qi Shuwen also knew about the star cannon. The current Water City wasn't a match for the Bao clan. Once it fell, his reputation as the Bao clan's son-in-law would be gone. Now, He didn't get any benefits except for a woman. After hearing this, Eternal Hatred said in a deep voice, "Mourn? How can we mourn with so many wronged souls? All the people in the coastal areas have been devoured, and all they do is mourn?" Abaloni's function had been completed, so he didn't participate in it. Kong Feiqing, of course, heard it. He said in a low voice, "Everlasting hatred, although this natural disaster was an accident, it was caused by our water city. Therefore we will not shirk our responsibility. We can discuss the reconstruction work." Pile Yongjun and Bao Ci seemed to have come to their senses. It was true that they couldn't fight now. It was very disadvantageous for them. Everlasting Hatred and Taiha also knew the pros and cons. Since the other party had given them face, it would be easy to negotiate. After all, they had come today to ask for an explanation. Everlasting Hatred stood up and said, "All right, let's discuss this matter properly." Kong Feiqing nodded and sent Everlasting Hatred and Taiha out. Today's matter was considered settled. As for the following discussion, they would make plans later. After Everlasting Hatred and Taiha emerged from the sea, they brought their people back. They were very satisfied with this result. At least Water City had bowed its head. Next, they would discuss the matter of compensation. In the meeting hall, Bao Ci shouted, "Sharky, come out." Bao Yu walked in from the door and greeted respectfully. "Father, what happened just now?" Bao Ci asked in a low voice. Abalone pursed her lips, as if she didn't want to say it. "Speak." "Lord Father, it was my husband who taught me to say it." Abalone couldn't help but say it. Just now, her husband had clearly told her not to say it was taught by her. Her husband was a low-profile person, doing good deeds without leaving his name. Having such a husband was also a blessing. "Qi Shuwen taught you?" "Yes." "Let him in," Bao Ci said in a low voice. Qi Shuwen's figure slowly walked in and respectfully said, "Greetings, Lord Father and Patriarchs." Bao Ci looked at his son-in-law. If it wasn't for his daughter liking him, how could she have married such a person? "You told Sharky to say that?" Bao Ci coldly asked. "Yes, Lord Father." "How dare you?" Bao Ci angrily shouted and slammed the table. Qi Shuwen appeared very calm, not panicking in the slightest. On the other hand, Abalone panicked. "Lord Father, my husband didn't do anything wrong." "He didn't do anything wrong. What about our Water City's face? Isn't this showing weakness in front of those two fellows?" At this time, Kong Feiqing smiled and said, "Brother Bao, let's hear what your son-in-law thinks first." "Humph. Thinking he's smart." Bao Ci coldly snorted and drank the tea in one gulp. "Qi Shuwen, tell me, why did you do this?" Kong Feiqing indifferently asked. Abalone gave him an encouraging look. Qi Shuwen looked at the three supreme beings and said, "Because the current Water City doesn't have the strength to start a war." Bang! Bao Ci directly smashed the table. "Impudent! How can you know the strength of our Water City?" Kong Feiqing and Pai Liangjun's expressions weren't good either. This was destroying their own prestige and boosting their opponent's morale. Abalone was also frightened. How could her husband say that? No matter what, he couldn't say that Water City wasn't good. Qi Shuwen continued, "If the star cannons were still here, I wouldn't have said that. Our Water City is afraid of the number of supreme beings they have, and they are also afraid of our star cannons. If we were to start a war, Water City would become history, or even a tourist attraction. And today, they came here mainly to test us. The situation just now was very dangerous, and I had no choice but to let Sharky come out and give us a way out. Lord Father, Patriarchs, we don't have the star cannons now. This is a fact." Following Qi Shuwen's words, the three supreme beings' expressions weren't good. Although this was a fact, it still made them unhappy. Yang Haotian and Ran Yao sat on the back of a horse, while the 5 women sat in the carriage and chatted. When women were together, they had countless topics to talk about. They could practically chat endlessly. However, the relationship between Yang Haotian and Ran Yao was a bit unusual. At this moment, Yang Haotian was sitting on the back of a horse. He suddenly said, "I suddenly feel like drinking something." Ran Yao took a look at Yang Haotian, then rubbed her head. Recently, her hair hasn't grown much. Drink what? Protect you. Ran Yao. When the 5 women in the carriage heard what Yang Haotian said, they immediately laughed until their stomachs hurt. This Yang Haotian is simply a slut. As for Ran Yao could be seen licking the corner of her mouth, then slightly raised her finger. Do you really want to protect me? Ugh, Yang Haotian almost vomited. This was the reverse teasing, and it would happen a few times every day. In any case, these 2 sluts were together, and they were happy and joyful the entire journey. Are we not there yet? Qing Yutong asked. Yang Haotian looked at the sky. Big sis, we should be there by tomorrow. Why don't we use teleportation? If we do that, we will lose a lot of happiness. In actuality, the most ordinary means of transportation can actually bring happiness. As for where they were going, the closest place would be Meridian Break Sect. Qing Yutong planned to go and take a look at little Ali and God Yi. I wonder how those 2 little fellows are doing. Brother-in-law is truly heartless, throwing them away just like that. I reckon that right now, they are having a 3-person world and are very happy. Chapter 935. Omega, 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 choking with sobs. Novel Qing Yutong's guess was indeed correct. Yi Hua had indeed experienced the world of 3 before. As the sky gradually darkened, the 7 of them rested on the grass not far from the roadside and started a fire to barbecue. Of course, the job of hunting was handed over to the 2 flashy guys, so it was much easier with their underlings around. They could do a lot of manual labor. Ran Yao was already used to it. There was nothing wrong with being a lackey, as long as it felt glorious. That way it would be balanced. Yang Haotian was thinking that since even an expert like Ran Yao was willing to be a subordinate, it was even more so for him, a dozun, to be a subordinate. The 5 women were lying on the chairs, and there was a small table in the middle with drinks on it. The 2 men acted as servants throughout the entire process. While eating the skewers, Qing Yutong suddenly said, "Let me test you guys on a question." Yang Haotian, Ran Yao. When the 2 of them heard this, they instantly lost their composure. Asking this question every day was simply too shameless. It should not be logical at all. Moreover, he had to be laughed at. The other 4 women were already preparing to laugh. It was too interesting. Look at their expressions. Do you know why mice can fly? Qing Yutong asked with a smile on her face, and that smile of hers could be said to be the smile of a devil. Sure enough, Yang Haotian and Ran Yao were dumbfounded when they heard this question. Can mice fly? Did I boast to the heavens? Yang Haotian and Ran Yao shook their heads, indicating that they had no idea. Idiot, it's because after a mouse eats an immortal pill, it can fly. So stupid. Ha ha. The other 4 women immediately laughed and cooperated with him. The 2 men had bitter expressions on their faces. Your question is illogical, right? If you have the ability, come and make it logical. Qing Yutong immediately asked again, why are snakes able to fly? Yang Haotian immediately raised his hand. Hee, if I can't answer such a question, then I'll go eat such *tea. Speak. Yang Haotian said proudly, that's because the snake also ate the elixir of immortality. Wrong, because the snake ate the mouse. Yang Haotian. Ha ha ha, you idiot. Ran Yao immediately pointed at Yang Haotian and began to ridicule him. Yang Haotian instantly felt bad. The tender laughter of the 5 women resounded under the night sky. Who knew how happy they were? Qing Yutong paused for a bit, then continued, why can eagles fly? Ran Yao immediately raised her hand. It was too easy. Because the eagle ate immortal pills, mice and snakes. After saying that, Ran Yao started to feel proud. Look, I've sealed off all your paths. I'm still the smart one. As expected of a guardian, I'm too quick-witted. Eagles have always been able to fly. Qing Yutong laughed out loud, then held onto her stomach and laughed out loud. Chapter 889. Translation: the red packet on that little butt is simply too tempting. My future is on that little butt. After Yang Haotian left, Qing Yutong said, what do we do? Among these 5 women, Qing Yutong's identity was right there. After all, she was your wife. Although Qing Yutong did not allow them to address her as their wife, they still had to respect her. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun basically would not consider this problem. They would just kill them once they caught them. The only ones that could be discussed were the other three. Yu Hua said softly, "I think, how about we talk about it after we get there first?" "Then what are we going to do? Directly rush into other people's sect and kill them?" Brett laughed lightly. "If that was really the case, I can settle everything by myself with my bow." Qing Yutong shook her head. "This is too simple, there is not much fun in it. If we are going to play, then let's play big." "How big?" Kai Yun asked curiously. Even Yi Zizi, who was angry, also looked towards Qing Yutong curiously. Let me think about it first." Qing Yutong also did not know how to play. Thinking back to when they were in Ing family, they just let nature take its course. Upon thinking back to when they were in Ing family, Qing Yutong's eyes lit up. "Zizi, do you still remember how we were kidnapped into Ing family?" A strange smile appeared on Yi Zizi's face. Then she looked towards Brett, Yu Hua and the others. Being looked at by Yi Zizi like that, everyone felt uncomfortable. "Yang Haotian, come over." Qing Yutong waved her hand. Yang Haotian, who was squatting at the side and drawing circles, ran over eagerly. Where did he look like an emperor? He looked more like a little follower. "Boss, what's the matter?" Yang Haotian even directly changed the way he addressed Yu Hua. "I heard that there is a water city at the intersection of the north and south?" Qing Yutong also unintentionally heard it in the city. Hearing the water city, Yang Haotian paused for a moment, then said, "Boss, we can directly go there from the sky, there is no need to go to the water city." "Are you very afraid of this water city?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. "Boss, this water city is an intermediary that separates the north and south. I heard that there are 3 great clans inside, and they are extremely powerful. If the strongest on the continent are the Broken Meridian Sect and the Deity Academy, then the 3 great clans in Water City are the same. Their clan leaders are all supreme beings. There is no need for us to go there." Yang Haotian really didn't want to go to that damned place. He could just fly over the water. No one would care. Even if he went by boat, no one would care. But if you force your way into Water City, you're done for. Qing Yutong suddenly revealed out a smile. "Let's go to Water City." Big Brother was once again entangled by a tree branch, and he fell onto the ground, unable to get up anymore. Qing Yutong looked at Brett, Brett looked at Yu Hua looked at Kai Yun, and Kai Yun looked at Yi Zizi. Their minds were filled with question marks, and they completely couldn't understand what these 3 people were doing. The sausages in Yang Haotian's and Ren Yao's hands were all black, and an unpleasant smell was emitting out from them. "Ren Yao, go and take a look at the situation. Are they performing acrobatics?" Qing Yutong couldn't help but say. "This is too bizarre. I completely can't accept this kind of idiotic plot." Ren Yao immediately went to take a look, then shouted out, "Boss, they are really dead." Qing Yutong. F***K. Yi Zizi couldn't help but curse. Shocked, incomparably shocked. They are actually really robbers, my god. How did they rob in the past? Yang Haotian couldn't help but go and take a look at the situation as well. It is actually true. The 5 women couldn't help but run over to take a look at the situation as well. Even television dramas wouldn't be filmed like this. I, Qing Yutong, am convinced by your brains. You guys are awesome, you guys successfully acted cool in front of me. Qing Yutong, very successful, you guys are practically using your lives to act cool. Are we too cruel? Kai Yun couldn't help but say. Yi Zizi rubbed her chin, then said seriously, "It's not that we are cruel, it's that they scared us." Yang Haotian felt that there was nothing wrong with what Yi Zizi said. These 3 people scared us. However, when he saw the red packet on Yi Zizi's butt, Yang Haotian couldn't help but swallow his saliva. "I really want to go and touch it. As long as I touch it, I, Yang Haotian, will do anything." However, right at this moment, 2 red rays of light landed at the side. The red rays of light were 2 men who wore white robes. If they are in the surroundings, they should be the people from Meridian Break sect. The 2 men did not say anything, and they walked over to take a look at the situation of the 3 people. "Senior brother, they are all dead." This senior brother looked towards Qing Yutong and the others, and his brows wrinkled. "These women are all very good looking. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. Senior brother, little junior sister and little junior brother are people that the sect head thinks highly of. If she really is, we have to properly entertain her. This junior brother still had some brains. Right now, Dong Huang Li and God Yi were the big brothers of Jade Vein Peak, and even the Peak Master had to treat them seriously. It was said that not long from now, Dong Huang Li and God Yi would be sent to Broken Vein Sect's inner sect, and it was even possible for them to enter the sect master's tutelage. His future was limitless. All right. If you dare to lie to me, the Meridian Break sect will not let you off. All right. How can I, Qing Yutong, lie to people? Oh, that's right. How are those two little fellows from that family? Did they cause any trouble? Otherwise, I, your aunt, will have to give them a good spanking. The junior brother said with a smile. Junior sister and junior brother have been very obedient in the peak. They have been diligently training, and received everyone's affirmation. Qing Yutong doesn't believe it. If God Yi had been diligently training, I would still believe it. But if you say that Ali, that little fellow, was diligently training, I, Qing Yutong, will not believe it no matter what. However, I will know when I go and take a look tomorrow. All right, everyone, let's go and sleep. Qing Yutong waved her hand. Let's have a good sleep. Then accompany Ali to play tomorrow. After that, we will continue heading south. It's a pity that I won't be able to see Yi Yan and Yi Lu. They are at the southwest, and they are a bit far. When I have time, I will go and see those two little fellows. The senior brother and junior brother didn't say anything and watched as those people went to sleep. Why did you stop me just now? Senior brother, those people are obviously strong. We have to be careful. So what if they are strong? My Broken Vein sect is not afraid. You have to remember this. And senior brother, I understand. It was precisely because of this kind of brainwashing that the disciples of Broken Vein sect were rather arrogant in the outside world. However, it was precisely because of this arrogance that more people wanted to go to Broken Vein sect, because as long as they become a disciple of Broken Vein sect, they would be able to be arrogant. The next morning, everyone continued on their way to Broken Vein sect's Jade Vein Peak. At noon, everyone arrived at the foot of the mountain. There was even a small village at the foot of the mountain. Qing Yutong and the others did not stop there, and after this senior brother's report, they quickly entered Jade Vein Peak. This was much more convenient. Walking on the stairs, one could have a good view of the scenery, and it was indeed very beautiful. Although this Broken Vein sect did not give off the feeling of a nouveau riche, it gave off a feeling of depth. It was just like those kinds of schools that had ancient history, that kind of feeling of depth. This was something that Voidless Empire did not have. Voidless Empire was just like a new bee, but this new bee was bullying elementary school students here, casually crushing them. The few of them walked into Jade Vein Peak. Right now it was noon, and there were not many people training. Furthermore, most of them were children. Qing Yutong and the others definitely received attention. After all, their appearances were there for all to see. After passing through the front courtyard, this senior brother led Qing Yutong to the guest courtyard. You two can just wait here. After finished speaking, this senior brother left. After the two of them left, Qing Yutong sized up the place curiously. This place is rather interesting. Boring. Yi Zizi pinched her fingernails, appearing to be very bored. However, just as Qing Yutong was about to say something else, an explosion rang out in the entire Jade Vein Peak, and it felt as if the entire mountain was shaking. The hell? We encountered a fight the moment we arrived? Kai Yun couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Qing Yutong walked outside to take a look, and she saw a strand of black smoke slowly rising into the air, and that black smoke didn't seem to be anything good either. However, Qing Yutong discovered that the other disciples were very calm, as if this kind of thing often happened. Qing Yutong casually called a little big brother and asked, and when that little big brother saw a beautiful girl calling him, his face immediately turned red. What was that explosion just now? Qing Yutong asked curiously. The little boy said shyly, Oh, that came from the pill concocting room, it happens every day. After finished speaking, he even raised his umbrella. Just as Qing Yutong was feeling puzzled, it actually started raining, and this kind of rain actually brought along a kind of strange aura. Don't stretch out your hand. This kind of acid rain can even burn the clothes on your body. Right now, in the entire mountain, everyone has to bring along an umbrella every day when they go out, and this umbrella is specially provided for them. Just who is concocting pills? Is it that scary? Qing Yutong asked curiously. It's Dong Huang Li. What? Dong Huang Li? Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Chapter 938. That's right now, we can only hope that Dong Huang Li and God Yi quickly go to the inner court and stop harming us. After all, they are just two little devils. Qing Yutong was speechless. What did Qing Yutong, say? I already said that Ali is not someone who knows her place. Look at the people here. They all hope that these two little fellows can quickly scram. Just as Qing Yutong was laughing, two voices sounded out. Little Ant. When the boy saw that Dong Huang Li and God Yi had arrived, he was immediately shocked. When he heard that they called this woman Ant, he was even more shocked. Dong Huang Li was wearing a gray robe that was tattered, and even her face was covered in dust. Those who did not know might even think that her face was originally that dark. Looking at God Yi, he had grown quite a bit taller, but his expression was still so cold. Ali, Qing Yutong shouted out excitedly. I haven't seen Ali for a long time. I really miss him. Qing Yutong immediately hugged Dong Huang Li, while Ali kissed Qing Yutong, then hugged her tightly. This was the warmth of family. However, the big brother who was standing at the side was trembling in fear. The great demon king Dong Huang Li actually has such a side to her. This is definitely a fake Dong Huang Li. Let's just leave. That God Ye's gaze is so scary. Right now, God Yi is like Dong Huang Li's bodyguard. Whoever dares to look at her sister will receive a death stare. Look again. I'll cut you in half. God Yi, let Ant hug you. Qing Yutong laughed. God Yi took a step back. Ant is very scary. However, Qing Yutong didn't care about that. She just liked God Ye's cold look. It was much more fun than Yi Yen. Therefore, Qing Yutong hugged God Yi and kissed him on his cheek. This made the cold God Ye's face immediately turn red. Io, our little handsome brother's face is turning red. Tell Ant, did you flirt with this big sister? Qing Yutong carried the two children and walked into the courtyard. God Yi said softly, I'm not interested in women. Qing Yutong was speechless. This is not good news. God Yi is actually not interested in women. Oh my God. God Yi, this won't do. Your father said that you must bring your wife when you go back in the future. If you don't bring your wife, you are not allowed to go back. God Yi frowned. Really? Of course it's true. When has my aunt ever lied? What about them? They are all the same. Qing Yutong said nonsense. Doesn't Dong Huang Li know that this little aunt is definitely lying? How can it be possible for her father to say such a thing? However, God Yi believed it. However, when they returned, God Yi was the only one with a woman among the four siblings. It was an awkward scene. Of course, that was 10 years later. From then on, God Yi no longer believed in his little aunt. She was simply a big liar. Did Mom and Dad come? Dong Huang Li asked curiously. It would have been fine if Qing Yutong didn't come. After all, the moment she came, she immediately missed her mom and dad. Qing Yutong patted off the dust that was on Dong Huang Li's face. I didn't, but other people came. Is that so? Who is it? We will know once we enter the house and take a look. Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. Dong Huang Li jumped down from Qing Yutong's embrace, then directly ran into the house. Then, he heard laughter coming from inside. Dong Huang Li, Yi Zizi, and Kai Yun were quite familiar with each other. Because their body sizes were about the same, they were able to play together. On the other hand, Brett and Yu Hua rarely came into contact with each other. Although they were father's subordinates, they would normally stay at home. Other than meetings, they would not be able to see each other at all. Qing Yutong held onto God Ye's hand and walked into the house. However, God Yi had a gloomy look on his face. I am no longer a child. There is no need for me to hold onto my hand like this. However, in Qing Yutong's eyes, God Yi was just a child. This was the first time Yang Haotian and Ren Yao saw these two children. Because these savage women seem to dote on these two children a lot, this is truly shameful. Whose children are they? Are they really that awesome? Aunt Brett, let me tell you a piece of good news. Dong Huangli said with a smile. Ali, what good news? Did you find a boyfriend? Brett said with a light smile. Dong Huangli pouted her mouth. What boyfriend? They are all trash, not a single one of them caught my eye. Oh, what good news is that? Hee hee, I've invented a type of medicinal pill that can treat infertility. Dong Huangli was very proud of herself. It seems like all of my dad's subordinates are infertile. Just look at Aunt Zishan, she just wanted to have a child, but after so many years, she is still unable to get pregnant. How pitiful! When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but giggle. Such a big child already knew about infertility. However, after Yu Hua and Brett heard this, their expressions were a little strange. Yu Hua and Lai Gu had been together for a very long time. Yu Hua also wanted to have a child, but she couldn't get pregnant. Could it be that there was a problem with the genes? But, His Honor is also one of the undead race. If His Honor and His Honor's wife can give birth to a child, then why can't I and Lai Gu? Brett was worried that after Absolute Heaven returned to his human form, he would be unable to conceive as well. After all, the trend of infertility had already spread throughout the team. Even His Honor wasn't able to find the cause of the problem and expressed that there was nothing he could do about it. Which woman didn't want to have children? So, this problem must be solved. Right now, when he heard that Dong Huangli had actually found the reason, he would definitely be filled with expectations. Chapter 939. Omega, 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 choking with sobs. Novel Yuehua was not afraid. She would know after trying. Oh, that's right. This medicine is for men to eat. Dong Huangli said solemnly. God Yi said nothing. Everyone, Yang Haotian and Ren Yao, felt that their men were all too weak. If not, why would they still have to take medicine? Life must be uncomfortable. However, is the medicine that Dong Huangli made really normal medicine? Hearing that the medicine was for men, she was relieved. Auntie, why do you have time to come over this time? He must have come to see Ali on the way. Moreover, there are so many of them at once. He must have been punished by father. Everyone was speechless. You guessed it right. However, Yang Haotian and Ren Yao were shocked. Father? He was punished by his father. These horrible women were punished by this child's father. What kind of person was this father? He could actually punish them. He wasn't human at all. Qing Yutong laughed coquettishly. This matter, it's a long story. During this period of time, a lot of things happened. Upon hearing that, Dong Huangli became depressed. Why is it that the moment I leave, there will be something fun to play with? This is so boring. Haha, Ali has to grow up quickly. When the time comes, Auntie will take you to have fun. Who are these two? I have never seen you before. Dong Huangli said while looking at Ran Yao and Yang Haotian. Qing Yutong said with a smile, these two are awesome, this handsome guy is wooing Zizi. Ah, you actually like Lolis, so perverted. Dong Huangli said while looking at Yang Haotian. As expected, all uncles like Lolis, so evil. The corner of Yi Zizi's mouth twitched. She wished she could pinch Yang Haotian to death. She had lost all her face because of him. Yang Haotian actually wanted to explain that he didn't like the loli, he liked the red packet on her butt. Who would like a loli for no reason? He must be crazy. Moreover, this was a violent Lolita. He could not afford to offend her. What about this bald-headed uncle? Brett chuckled. This isn't Uncle Baldy. Ah, could it be Aunt Baldy? Yuhua added, it's not a bald-headed auntie either. My God, what is that? Dong Huangli felt that her brain wasn't enough to process what was going on. Ren Yao was depressed. So what if I'm a neutral person? Did I offend you guys or something? How dare you guys look down on neutral people? I am a guardian. Ran Yao had to emphasize that she was a powerful guardian. Although it was a bit of a scam, at least her reputation was still here. Sounds like it's very powerful. He's actually a weakling, Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Ran Yao. This is too much of a blow to me. Be careful that I don't shut myself off. Oh right, little ant, what are you guys doing here? Bring me along, don't you think so, Godyi? I want to learn, Godyi said calmly, carrying out his ruthlessness to the very end. The inner courtyard was at the heart, while the outer courtyard surrounded the inner courtyard. But there were also many branches in the outer court, and there were countless of them. But in one of the branches, everyone was suffering because they really wanted to die. I haven't slept well for a few months. That damn Yi Yan, can you stop playing the flute? Are you trying to blow us to death? If you didn't have a powerful sister, I'm sure we would beat the shit out of you. However, at this time, Yi Yan was walking in the branch with a pace that didn't recognize anyone. He even had a black flute at his waist. Everyone clenched their fists, wishing they could put a sack on him and beat him to such *T. However, when they saw the girl behind her, everyone immediately dispelled this terrifying thought. Actually, no one dared to do so, because the headmaster had taken a fancy to these two, and it was said that they would soon become the headmaster's disciples. That was a supreme being. Who would dare to provoke them? These were two little devils. Yan walked with a pace that didn't recognize anyone, while Yi Lu coldly followed behind. Little sister, you have to protect Big Brother. If something happens to Big Brother, Mom will cry to death. Yi Yan grabbed Yi Lu's little hand and said with a sincere tone. Yi Lu narrowed her eyes. Big Brother, Mom and Dad asked you to take care of me and protect me. In the end, I'm the one protecting you and taking care of you. If I wasn't your little sister, Yi Yan patted Yi Lu's head. This action scared everyone. You actually dared to pat the head of a female devil. If you weren't the Big Brother, you would probably be chopped to death. Lu, Big Brother only has one little sister. We have the same mother. If you don't take care of Big Brother, who will? Big Brother still has to show off with you. Yi Lu suddenly revealed a cute smile. This made Yi Yan's body tremble. Big Brother. Damn, Yi Yan felt that he couldn't take it anymore. Lu, hurry up and change back. I can't stand you like this. Big Brother. I was wrong, okay? My little ancestor, I'll play a song for you, okay? Yi Lu immediately rolled her eyes. Big Brother could blow someone to death when he fought with them. Then Big Brother, can you spar with me? I beg you, Big Brother. Yi Lu pulled Yi Yan's arm and acted like a spoiled child. How could I, Yi Yan, be your sparring partner? You're so fierce at such a young age. As a Big Brother, can I really hit you? I'll let you hit me every time. When the surrounding people saw Yi Lu acting like a spoiled child, they finally felt that Yi Lu was like a normal person. This was the attitude that a girl should have. How cute. However, there was a demon hidden under this cute smile. Yi Lu had already fought all over the branch and could not find anyone else. She had encountered the same problem as God Yi. However, Yi Lu felt that it was best if only her Big Brother could be her sparring partner. When the time came, she would represent Shen Academy and beat Brother God Yi up for bullying her when she was young. Lu, it's not convenient for Big Brother these few days. You know, boys have a few days every month. When the surrounding people heard this, they felt a bit dizzy. Especially some girls who heard it, their faces reddened. This Yi Yan was really a little hooligan. But such a cute little hooligan really made them like him. It had to be said that Yi Yan had the tendency to become a playboy. He already knew how to flirt at such a young age. What would happen when he grew up? Big Brother, you don't love your little sister anymore? Lu hates you. Yi Yan rolled his eyes. This Lu always did this. The problem was that he fell for it. This was his own little sister. If he didn't dote on her, who would? Lu, Big Brother was wrong. Don't be angry, okay? Yi Yan hurriedly coaxed with a helpless expression. Yi Lu was delighted. Of course she knew that her Big Brother loved her. After all, he was her Big Brother. I knew Big Brother was the best. Yi Lu tiptoed and kissed him. This made the surrounding boys envious. This was a kiss from a goddess. Although it was her Big Brother, they still felt unhappy and jealous. Yi Yan rubbed his cheek and said helplessly, Lu, you're not allowed to kiss Big Brother in the future. No, I just like kissing Big Brothers, Yi Lu said with a smile. I really have to give it to you. I'm really worried for my future brother-in-law. Big Brother, you should be worried for brother-in-law. Big Sister has a tendency to domestic violence. Yi Yan rubbed his chin, indicating that it was very likely. Big Sister was very violent. Baidu search 881 Chinese network. No advertising words. Chapter 941. Looking at the current Yi Yan and Yi Lu, this was the relationship that siblings should have. Once again, it showed that Yi Hua's arrangement was correct. I wonder what sister is doing now, and that ice lump, Yi Yan murmured. Yi Lu, who was at the side, became cold again. She only acted coquettishly to her own brother. Indeed, Yi Lu did not act coquettishly in front of God Yi. She only acted coquettishly in front of Yi Yan because Yi Yan was her brother. Sister must be bullying brother God Yi, Yi Lu said indifferently. Yi Lu said faintly as he pulled Yi Yan towards the cultivation room. He was already a little impatient. Yi Yan sighed. God Yi is so pitiful. Fortunately, Dad was smart and let me team up with you. Otherwise, I would have been killed by sister. Now you know that sister is good. You ignored me in the past. I am my good Lu-er. Why did brother ignore you in the past? It was you who didn't play with brother and always hung out with God Yi. Yi Yan pouted. How could he say that he, as a brother, did not play with him? How heartless. Yi Lu smiled. Brother, I know I was wrong. I'll accompany brother more in the future. Yi Yan hugged his sister's shoulder. That's my good sister. Let's go. I'll let you practice. But I have to say, don't slap my face. I won't slap his face this time. I know you want to pick up girls. Hee, don't tell Mom and Dad. This is a little secret between us. I know. The siblings walked towards the training room under everyone's gaze. Then they both sighed. They mourned for the training room for a second. Because it was about to collapse. It would basically collapse once a month. These two were simply perverts. As the siblings walked into the training room, everyone had a panicked expression. Especially those who were taught a lesson by Yi Lu. They immediately pretended not to see it. Yi Yan continued to walk without caring about anyone. Yi Lu returned to her normal expression. Acting coquettishly was not a normal expression. The two walked towards the dedicated training room. Yi Yan pushed open the heavy metal door. Shouts could be heard from inside. Another child of the same age was waving his fists. He looked very serious, and his face was covered in sweat. It's him again, Yi Yan muttered. Yi Lu replied calmly. The boy inside turned around to look at Yi Yan and Yi Lu. Of course he knew them. They were about to become the principal's final disciples. No one dared to provoke them. It could be said that they could do whatever they wanted in Deity Institution. But he refused to accept it. Why were they allowed to become the disciples of Ji Zun and not him? He slept later than them, got up earlier than them, and worked harder than them. As for that Yi Yan, he only knows how to use his flute to tease the female students every day, and that Yi Lu bullies people everywhere. How could the dean accept them as his final disciples? He must be blind. My forest city will definitely not lose to them. At that time, everyone will regret it. And those murderers who killed his family, none of them would be able to escape. Why don't we wait for him to finish? He looks pretty miserable. Yi Yan said softly. He also knew that Lin Cheng was very poor. Not just a normal kind of poor. He basically ate buns every day and couldn't afford anything else. Yi Lu didn't object. On the contrary, he admired hard-working people. Although Lin Cheng was a little poor, he didn't lack ambition. He was famous for being hard-working. He heard that a teacher in the inner courtyard planned to take him as a disciple. In the future, he would be able to make a name for himself. Unfortunately, he was born at the finish line. There was nothing he could do about it. Who told him to have such an amazing father? Coming out of his mother's womb meant that he would be extraordinary in life. Since they planned to wait, the two of them sat at the side and waited. They chatted softly and didn't disturb other people's cultivation. Although this training was just to hit a wooden pole, Lin Cheng's fists were getting heavier and heavier. The two of them were actually sitting at the side and laughing at him. He would return this humiliation many times over in the future. Pang! Kacha! Following Lin Cheng's angry punch, the wooden dummy was directly broken. A strange atmosphere floated in the empty cultivation room. Yi Yan felt that he should clap and praise him. So, Yi Yan started to clap. However, such applause was an even greater humiliation to Lin Cheng. He was actually laughing at him. Lin Cheng couldn't take it anymore. He suddenly pointed at Yi Yan and said, "I want to fight you." Yi Yan, who was clapping, was stunned. He looked at his sister beside him. What did he say? "He wants to fight you one-on-one." Yi Lu said calmly and didn't care at all. He was just asking to die. He overestimated himself. Yi Yan also felt that it was weird. Why did he want to fight him for no reason? Other people wouldn't fight him. Knowing his own strength, Yi Yan persuaded, "It is best if you don't fight. You have trained for so long, go and rest." "Do you think it is beneath you to fight me? Are you looking down on me?" Lin Cheng hollered. "Brother, you should go." Yi Lu said calmly. Since he wanted to, then he should grant him his wish. In the future, he wouldn't bother him anymore. Yi Yan was helpless. He stood up and walked down. He stood not far from Lin Cheng. Lin Cheng clenched his fists tightly. His chest rose up and down like he was really angry. Yi Yan sensed it too. He didn't know why this fellow was angry. Did he have a crush on his sister? That was possible. However, Lu wouldn't like someone like him. Lin Cheng, just fight casually. Yi Yan, don't look down on me. You have to treat me seriously. Lin Cheng shouted with an immature voice. Yi Yan smiled bitterly. When did I look down on you? You must have misunderstood something. There is no misunderstanding between us. Come. Today I will defeat you. Lin Cheng slightly leaned forward, his center of gravity between his legs. His left fist aimed at Yi Yan's forehead. His right fist was on his stomach. This was the simplest fist technique in Deity Institution. Of course Yi Yan knew about it. He had learned it all because it was really simple. However, as for why Lin Cheng hated him so much, Yi Yan didn't understand. Was this the so-called unreasonable hatred of the rich? That was a bit unfair. Yi Yan, was a very polite man. He would never look down on others because of something. However, if some people really wanted to be stubborn, then he would look down on them. Then you can come. Yi Yan just stood there. He really couldn't raise any interest. This was just an ordinary person who didn't even have battle chi. He could poke him to death with one finger. Forget it, forget it. He should just pretend to be serious. Otherwise he would say that Yi Yan was looking down on him again. Lin Cheng saw all of this. He was furious to the extreme. His body shook, and then he shouted angrily. Baidu search 881 Chinese network yen. Yen. Chapter 942 Translation The entire cultivation room was filled with Lin Cheng's angry roar. The entire cultivation room was filled with Lin Cheng's angry roar. That angry little fist directly landed on Yi Yan's chest. Lin Cheng was filled with excitement. He was finally going to defeat Yi Yan. He was going to let everyone know that he, Lin Cheng, could also defeat Yi Yan. He, Lin Cheng, could also become the final disciple of a supreme being. The idea was good, but the reality was very cruel. Yi Yan looked at the little fist on his chest. That fist was scraped because of striking the wooden pole. There were even traces of blood seeping out. It looked rather miserable. Should he put on an act at this moment? At any rate, Yi Yan was so hardworking. If he didn't react at all, what would he do if Yi Yan was defeated? Wouldn't he be the main culprit? Lin Cheng looked at Yi Yan, who seemed to be hesitating. He was very surprised. His fist had already landed on Yi Yan's chest, and this was his reaction. Ah! It hurts. It hurts. Yi Yan immediately took a step back and clutched his chest. Yi Lu, who was sitting at the side, chuckled. Big brother, you're really too much. You're even more of a blow, okay? Lin Cheng looked at Yi Yan clutching his chest as if he was about to die. His eyes seemed to be spewing fire. It clearly wasn't like this just now. You're an expert. I can't defeat you. Yi Yan clutched his chest and said in pain. He had put in a lot of effort and hoped that Lin Cheng could feel his concern. However, Lin Cheng didn't feel it at all. He pointed at Yi Yan and shouted, Are you still looking down on me? Bring out your true strength and fight with me. If I use my true strength, you'll be dead. The gap between us is destined to be a chasm, the kind that can't be crossed. Yi Lu heaved a sigh of relief and lightly leaped to the side. All right, don't waste time. Lin Cheng, go back and rest. No. I want to fight him. Lin Cheng looked at Yi Lu and was very unconvinced. You're not his match. Go back. Yi Lu persuaded again. Yi Yan stopped pretending and said to his sister, Lu Er, stop fooling around. Big brother, that's enough. We still have serious matters to attend to. Lin Cheng clenched his little fist. So it turned out that he wasn't serious at all. They were completely looking down on him. Forest City will prove it. In the future, you will kneel at my feet and repent for today's mistakes. Lin Cheng, swear. He would definitely do it. The brother and sister looked at the little figure as he left, feeling helpless in their hearts. Luer, you're too much. Don't do this in the future. As the elder brother, Yi Yan still had to establish a good image. Yi Lu chuckled. Bro, that's what you call beating people up. If you directly knock him down, he'll understand how big the gap is, and he won't have any delusions. Sigh, if you don't have any illusions in life, then what's the difference between you and a salted fish? Brother, don't imitate Dad. You're not imposing at all. Yi Lu pouted, indicating that she didn't feel anything. You really don't have any imposing manner at all? Why can't I learn Dad's style? Yi Yan was so depressed. In this life, other than being a musician, the only other thing he wanted was to become a man like his father. Just by standing there, he would be able to suppress everyone. That kind of demeanor was so charming. Brother, you still need to practice, although it might not necessarily be effective. While speaking, Yi Lu walked to the front of Yi Yan. Luer, this is what you call beating people up. I will definitely be able to learn it. All right, let's start practicing. Yi Lu waved her hand, indicating that she was already prepared. Yi Yan nodded his head then asked, What level of control? It'll be fine as long as it's not too exaggerated. All right. The two little fellows began fighting in the training room, causing tremors to ring out in the training room. Lin Cheng, who was standing outside the training room, turned his head around and took a look at the training room, then turned around and left. Right now, it is still unknown who will win and who will lose. Perhaps, even Yi Hua didn't expect that the change between the two children would be so big. In the end, they are still related by blood. They are born from the same mother. However, right now, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji were regretting their decision. This shameless Yi Hua, I don't know if he is possessed or what, but he is simply like a tyrant, endlessly demanding things. We are truly unlucky to have met this kind of man. You said that you want to punish us, at least tell us what it is. What did we do wrong? We can change it in the future, all right? You didn't even tell us the main point, and you still want us to die. Divorce. I can't continue living like this anymore. That's what I thought in my heart, but that's what I thought in my body. So cool, so happy. Dodgy, who was guarding outside, had a face full of envy. During these few days, Master and Madam did not come out at all. I really want to go and help the Madam share the pain. Just as Dodgy was fantasizing, Luo Ho, who was holding onto a white fan, appeared at the door. Subordinate Luo Ho pays his respect to his honor. After Kai Yun and Yu Hua left, Luo Ho took over the management of all the matters in the city. Right now, he encountered a problem, and he wanted to seek his honor's opinion. Seeing that no one replied to him, Luo Ho, who had his head lowered, smiled towards Dodgy. Lady Dodgy, I'll have to trouble you to inform his honor. How could Dodgy go and disturb her master's mood? She said faintly. His honor is not free these few days. I really have an urgent matter to seek an audience with his honor. Luo Ho said pleadingly. This scene reminded one of those muddle-headed emperors. Loyal subjects would kowtow to the emperor and report an urgent matter to the emperor. But what about the emperor? Inside the room, he was having fun with a mermaid. This was the omen of a country being destroyed. His honor isn't free right now. Dodgy said faintly. Luo Ho didn't dare to barge in forcefully. After all, it wasn't a huge matter. It's just that recently, there had been quite a lot of fights in the city. Originally, it was a very simple matter, but it was precisely because of the fights that happened, that was the crux of the matter. Right now, within the city, there was a small portion that said that there were good people among the different races. In the end, those who hated the different races definitely didn't have a good expression on their faces. And then, the hatred between the different races became bigger and bigger. In the end, they decided to just take action. If they were to take action, it would be terrible. A small fight every day, a big fight every 2 days, and a group fight every 3 days. Just who should be locked up? Right now, His Honor advocates for peaceful coexistence. If you were to lock up the people who supported the different races, wouldn't that be making the people's hearts cold? If I were to lock up the people who hated the different races, wouldn't that be the same as supporting the different races? The problem is, right now isn't the right time yet. If I were to do that, a huge matter would definitely happen, and the consequences would be very serious. Thus, Luo Ho couldn't make up his mind. He wanted to ask His Honor how to deal with this matter. However, right now, His Honor was still hugging onto his 2 lovely wives and sleeping. After he woke up, he would continue to f*ck with them, and he wouldn't let go of them for at least a month. Who asked them to scold me for being trash? I, the Supreme Overlord, am someone who holds grudges. Lady Dodgy, if His Honor comes out, please inform me about it. All right. Dodgy said faintly. Where would I have the time to inform you about it? I am a woman who serves His Honor, and I am very busy. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertisement words. Chapter 943. Luo Ho retreated helplessly. He was at a loss. What should he do? Should I go and look for Wei Chong? No matter what, Wei Chong is His Honor's #1 general, and I heard that Wei Chong is also very quick-witted. There should be a way to solve this matter. Soon, Luo Ho arrived at Wei Chang's palace. The moment he entered, he saw Tang Wei taking care of the flowers and plants. She seemed to be in a good mood and was even humming a tune. Luo Ho, you came. What's the matter? Tang Wei asked curiously. I am here to pay my respects to Wei Chong. Luo Ho cupped his hands and said. Tang Wei took the water bottle and said with a smile, Uncle Wei left the city today. It seems like he went to do something. Ah, what's the matter? Tang Wei curiously asked. Right now, Luo Ho also had the heart but not the strength, so he told Tang Wei what had happened. About this, you can ask Mu Ran. Uncle Wei said that Mu Ran is the scriptwriter this time. Tang Wei had a lot of information. After all, the person who was sleeping beside Wei Chong was Wei Chong. Wei Chong would always tell Tang Wei everything. Luo Ho closed his fan. All right, I'll go ask. After finished speaking, Luo Ho walked towards Mu Ran's palace. Such a big city, and you want me to manage it by myself? What is this? Arriving at Mu Ran's palace, Luo Ho looked inside and discovered that there were 2 figures on the pavilion, and they were currently kiss. Luo Ho was stunned. Sky Red. He hugged Mu Ran and kissed her. You don't do anything but hug girls and kiss them. I run around every day. There was also White Bones. He didn't know where he had run off to, and Kwang Sha also seemed to have disappeared. Cough, 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 cough. Luo Ho immediately coughed. What a good Song Kong Hong. You claim to have loved Yue Hua for over 10,000 years, yet you had already fallen in love with someone else in just a few years. Most importantly, the other party was a petite girl. Did you have such strong tastes? The 2 people in the gazebo seemed to forget themselves, and only stopped when they heard the sound of coughing. Mu Ran blushed and quickly sat to the side. Song Kong Hong stood up and stood behind Mu Ran as if nothing had happened. As a competent bodyguard, he had to protect Mu Ran, both physically and mentally. Luo Ho was puzzled. Why did Mu Ran like Sky Red? That face. I'll have nightmares if I see it. Luo Ho, what are you doing here? Song Kong Hong asked. His tone was a little unfriendly, as though he was saying, How dare you disturb me? Luo Ho wanted to vomit blood. You're asking me what I'm doing here. Do you have the nerve to ask? I'm so F***ing tired myself to death. And you're here playing with a little girl. If you have the ability, let's switch. Mu Ran, I have something to ask you. Luo Ho ignored Sky Red and asked Mu Ran directly. Yes. Mu Ran blushed. It was too awkward just now. Why did someone suddenly steal her first kiss? Luo Ho recounted everything that had happened. After hearing this, Mu Ran gradually became serious. She had considered this kind of thing before, but she hadn't thought of a way to deal with it because it was very tricky. What does the emperor think? Mu Ran asked curiously. Luo Ho said gloomily, I just went to see His Majesty but I couldn't see him. What is the emperor doing? Mu Ran felt that the emperor was still very concerned. How could he not see such a big event? Luo Ho didn't know what to say. Of course, the emperor was punishing the empress. That day, the empress had scolded him countless times. How could the emperor take it? The emperor is also busy. In any case, he can't see him. Do you have any other ideas? If there is, I will carry it out. Mu Ran stood up and rubbed her chin as she paced back and forth. It seemed like she could only think of a way herself. Right, how many people support the alien race? Those who just entered the city. There aren't many of them, less than 1,000. Only so little? This is indeed a little difficult. Mu Ran sighed. Right now, the population of Wuxia Empire was close to 200,000, but only 1,000 people supported the alien race. It was too little, pitifully little. So what should we do now? Right now, many people are waiting for the officials to give a reply. They want us to kill those who support the alien race. We definitely can't kill them. It wasn't easy for us to obtain the support of 1,000 people. Mu Ran said in a low voice as she frowned. Luo Ho also knew that they couldn't kill them. He said helplessly, there are already people protesting. If this continues, it won't do. There are even people who are secretly causing trouble and causing destruction. These people who are causing destruction must be captured and punished. As for the leaders of both sides, capture them and lock them up for a few days. Count this as our Wuxia Empire's attitude. Don't make a big deal out of this. Luo Ho understood what Mu Ran meant. Give both sides a slap in the face and let them know their place. All right, that's fine. Let's do this for now. We will make further plans after the emperor comes out. Before Luo Ho left, he glared at Song Kong Hong. What a lazy person. Luo Ho directly walked out of the palace. This matter had caused him to be in a terrible state. The main point was that no one came to help him. With the banner leader here, the others wouldn't dare to disobey. After Luo Ho walked out of the palace, he brought over 10 yellow armored warriors to the west of the city. Because the west of the city was the location of the riot, and the riot was getting fiercer and fiercer. Looks like I have to use some iron-blooded methods this time. These people are simply too bored to do anything. Walking into the street of the west of the city, Luo Ho's brows furrowed. The middle of the street was filled with trash. Rotten eggs, vegetable leaves. It was as if there had just been a criminal parade. However, not far away, over 100 people were gathered and smashing shops. F***ck, smash. These bastards who are speaking good things about the other races. My mother was killed by the other races. These people aren't fit to be humans. They should be sent to hell. That's right. My entire family was killed by the other races. These trash people. Killing them is also for the sake of fairness. Smash, the bastards inside. Listen up, if you still don't open the door, I will set the shop on fire. Luo Ho walked over with a sunken face and shouted, all of you stop. With such a shout, everyone's scalp turned numb. They turned their heads and took a look, then immediately knelt down. Greetings, Lord Luo. Are you all trying to cause trouble in Wuxia Empire? After causing trouble for a few days, you all still don't want to stop. Previously, Luo Ho had closed one eye because he couldn't solve the problem. Lord Luo, these people deserve it. That's right, Lord Luo, they are all protecting the other races. Lord Luo, it can't be that Wuxia Empire is also going to protect the other races, right? That is too disappointing. The other races are the natural enemies of us humans. Killing the other races is everyone's responsibility. Lord Luo, please uphold justice for us. Just when Luo Ho was preparing to say something, the door was suddenly opened, and an old man could be seen walking out. He pointed at everyone and scolded, you bunch of heartless people, there are also good and bad races, and you all are the bad people among humans. Chapter 944. Old man. Don't force me to attack you. Even if you kill one of me, there are still thousands of me. Mother***, old man, you asked for it. Brothers, Take out your weapons and attack. Luo Ho was also angered. He actually treated him as thin air. He simply had no respect for the law. Capture all the troublemakers. Luo Ho bellowed. The yellow armored warrior standing behind him stood up and shouted, "Yes!" Maybe it was because the Voidless Empire gave people a feeling that it was too comfortable. In fact, there was even a misconception that even if they were to cause trouble, nothing would happen to them. That was why these people dared to resist. You people, don't touch me. You can't afford it. Why are the people from Voidless Empire so barbaric? Don't touch me. Don't be afraid, everyone. If they dare to fight, we dare to fight back. Kill them. Luo Ho was a little dumbfounded. These people actually rebelled. What was he supposed to do? Should I kill them on the spot or capture them all? Luo Ho was just a subordinate. It was fine for him to kill people, but it was not his forte to let him manage. On this matter, Luo Ho was a little indecisive. He was unable to make the right choice and was indecisive. If Kai Yun was here, he would have directly killed him. He actually dared to go against Voidless Empire. No one's face was useful. I'm afraid you don't know where you're standing. You're too full of yourself. However, Luo Ho was not Kai Yun. He lacked a sense of leadership. Even now, he was still hesitating. He was afraid that he would do something wrong and get scolded by his honor. As a result, more than 10 yellow armored warriors did not receive orders and were being beaten up. However, this scene was seen by many people. They never expected that the inspection team in the city would be beaten up. No one dared to believe what was happening in front of them. The more they fought, the more excited they became. These yellow armored warriors did not fight back, as if they were afraid of them, so they were not worried at all. Everyone, let's fight. These people won't dare to do anything to us. Haha, this feels great. I actually beat up an inspector today. Damn it, I used to be scared to death when I saw these yellow armored warriors. So they're all cowards. That's right, it feels so good. That's all there is to it. Beat him up. Luo Ho had yet to react. This was the first time since the opening of the city. This was the first time a guard had been beaten, and it could be recorded in the annals of history. The forest was big, and there were all kinds of birds. There was no shortage of idle people, rich second-generation heirs, or rich second-generation heirs who came to the city from outside. Luo Ho's expression tightened as he yelled, "Capture them all!" With Luo Ho's order, the yellow armored warrior immediately exploded with a wave of pressure. Chapter 945. Omega, 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 choking with sobs. Novel faced with Hong Beishan's questioning, Luo Ho said coldly, "The crime of assaulting a city guard. Beating up the city guards. Master Luo. Why did I hear others say that it was the guards who beat him up, and that my son was merely defending himself?" Hong Beishan's words were echoed by some of the people behind him, and it seemed like they were about to rebel. Luo Ho was a little out of sorts today. If he could, he really wanted to kill all of them. But could these people be killed? The reason why Voidless Empire was able to prosper today was all because of their hard work. Voidless Empire was created by Yi Hua and his subordinates. However, not everything was done by Yi Hua and his subordinates. Most of the things were done by Yi Hua and his subordinates. Only when there were things that Yi Hua and his subordinates were unable to solve would Yi Hua utilize his subordinates. However, the current subordinates of Voidless Empire were just idling around. After all, Voidless Empire's ecology had already been arranged, and they only needed time to settle down. They were the first batch of people to contribute. Right now, His Honor is advocating love, respect, and peace, and Luo Ho is completely unable to make the decision. In Hong Beishan's eyes, Luo Ho, who couldn't make decisions, was even easier to bully. It was as if he didn't dare to do anything to them. "Lord Luo, my son has been beaten to death by the guards. How are we going to explain this? Also, what did Lord Luo mean by protecting the supporters? Could it be that Lord Luo wanted to go against the will of the heavens and support the foreign races? If this matter was reported to the emperor, he would definitely not be able to escape. I'm afraid." Hong Batian was indeed worthy of being the richest man in the world. He actually made Luo Ho speechless. It was like making something out of nothing. Since when did he support the supporters? But today's situation seemed to have been caused by the arrest of those who opposed him. Luo Ho did not know what to do. By doing this, does this count as messing up his honors plan? I'm done for. I'm definitely done for. Master Luo, give justice to my son. Give justice to the world. With that, Hong Batian knelt down. The people behind him did the same. They shouted in unison, Lord Luo, give justice to my son, give justice to the world. Luo Ho took a deep breath. Now that they had captured them, would they let them go the moment they came in? Then where would Voidless Empire's face be? Could some rich people just take people away like that? Therefore, they definitely couldn't let him go. These people will be detained for 15 days. You can all leave. Luo Ho said in a low voice. He didn't want to bother anymore. Why wasn't the flag owner back yet? She loved playing this game the most. What? 15 days. Lord Luo, you're actually detaining humans for the sake of those foreign races. Master Luo, think twice before you act. Lord Luo, what about my son who died in vain? Hong Batian bellowed. F***CK, what does your son's death have to do with me? You actually came here to ask for an explanation. Do you believe that I won't kill you as well? Luo Ho shouted coldly. This lord needs to rest, please leave. The yellow-armored warriors standing around chased everyone away. However, these people became even more insolent. I want to see the emperor. I want to file a complaint. Luo Ho is in cahoots with the outsiders. Luo Ho, who was sitting inside, wished that he could kill them all. This group of flies that didn't care about their lives should be killed by him and then soaked in the septic tank for the rest of their lives. Luo Ho didn't even know who to look for. He was at a loss and things seemed to be getting out of control. It was indeed a little out of control. After Hong Batian returned, he immediately bought people to spread the news in Voidless Empire. Things like Luo Ho colluding with the outsiders, killing humans, etc. However, when the supporters heard Luo Ho's actions, they all cheered. This undoubtedly hammered Luo Ho's confidence. One day later, even more ferocious things came. Wandering. 10,000 people actually appeared wandering in the city, holding up banners and protesting. There were even over 100 people sitting quietly in front of the palace, and there were even some who were having sex. Luo Ho was completely flustered and he hurriedly ran into the palace to look for Mu Ran. When Mu Ran heard Luo Ho's words, she nearly fainted. She originally wanted to slowly change the image of the outsiders in everyone's hearts. But now, not only did it not change, it became even more profound. Even if she, the fake saintess, personally came out, it was useless. Moreover, the tens of thousands of people protesting in the city was undoubtedly slapping Voidless Empire's face, and those sit-ins were also forcing the emperor to make an appearance. Everything was a blow to Voidless Empire. Luo Ho was bewildered. Where did Wei Chong, White Bones, Quang Sha, and the others go? So he went to pull some strings, and the strings he pulled were the outsiders. After all, he had to put on a show in front of both sides. However, right now the problem was very serious, and it threatened the foundation of the outsiders. After Wei Chong received the voice transmission, he immediately rushed back. After all, the problem was very serious. A group of subordinates held a meeting without his honor present. Mu Ran naturally couldn't participate in the meeting. She still didn't know Wei Chong and Tang Wei's true identity. Since his honor wasn't present, Wei Chong was in charge of the overall situation. Forget about Lai Gu, he only knows how to fight and kill, just like Luo Ho. After hearing that, Wei Chong entered into contemplation, then rubbed his chin as he paced back and forth. Everyone looked at Wei Chong. However, Wei Chong said gravely, "Do Fusher, do you have any good suggestions?" Do Fusher, who was standing at the back, was dumbstruck. "Why do you always have to look for me? If I do this kind of thing well, I would be able to receive his honor's praise. The problem is, everyone has no choice but to make me, Do Fusher, the scapegoat. Why are you all so bad? Are you all planning to make me, Do Fusher, the scapegoat?" Li Hun also looked at her husband with a pitiful expression. He was so pitiful. Not only was he being bullied at night, he was also being bullied by everyone during the day. Do Fusher shouted, "This subordinate is ignorant. At the very least, it is better than being scolded by his honor. Wei Chong took a deep breath. Who else? No one made a sound. If there was a way, they wouldn't have called him back. It seems like we only have one way, Wei Chong said coldly. Lai Gu asked curiously, Wei Chong, what method is it? Your Honor, please open the door. Sure enough, this is a good idea. As long as His Honor is willing to come out from his closed-door seclusion, all of our problems will be solved. I agree. Lai Gu was the first to raise his hand. Rather than fooling around here, I might as well quickly ask His Honor to come out. All the subordinates agreed. The more people there are, the more power there is. All of them rushed towards Yi Hua's sleeping quarters with an expression that seemed as if they were facing death with equanimity. If I don't call His Honor out today, I will have to apologize with my death. Daji was a little surprised to see all these people running over. What were they going to do? Master was having sex with the madam. How can he be disturbed? Wei Chong looked at Daji, then cupped his hands and said, Lady Daji, I have an important matter to report to His Honor. May I trouble you to report to His Honor? His Honor is very busy right now. I can't. Daji said indifferently. Sometimes when His Majesty is unable to see, there is also eunuch reason, because the eunuch doesn't allow it. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.